Hi and welcome to this very special edition of MRTV Live. We are going to watch the Facebook Connect live stream keynote together. And I'm not alone here. I am with the whole crew of VR Roundtable. And I'm so looking forward, to have this reunion and to hear everything what they think about it. So absolutely stay tuned to watch the whole video because all of this goodness is coming up. Hi and welcome back here to MRTV. My name is Sebastian Ang and this channel is all about virtual reality. I'm bringing you unbiased and honest reviews of all the VR headsets and you're getting exciting live streams just like this one here. So if this is your first time here and if you would like to see more videos just like this, absolutely subscribe to the channel and click on the bell button so that you don't miss anything. Yes, welcome to the channel. And first of all, I would like to say hello to the VR Roundtable crew. Hello there. How are you doing, guys?
Great.
We're good.
Good.
Okay, really happy to have this reunion going of the VR Roundtable podcast. If you have not seen any of these gentlemen before, they have been doing an amazing podcast and actually my personal favorite VR podcast. And unfortunately, they went into a hiatus a few months ago. Or is it already a year? I don't even know. It's too long. And anyways, now we're celebrating this reunion here. And of course, for this really exciting occasion, the Facebook Connect keynote, where we are most probably going to hear everything about the Quest 2 and Facebook Horizon. Anyways, before we talk about all this, I would like to do some catching up. So I would like to go through all of this, all of you guys, and speak with each of you for a moment and just find out what you have been up to. And I would like to start with Steve Bishop. How are you doing and what have you been up to?
Well, I'm in a new home, so that was probably the biggest thing I've done since the last episode of VR Roundtable. Other than that, work, life, playing VR games. You know, the upside of not doing the weekly podcast is I can play the games I want, when I want, how I want, and take however long I want with those games. So played a lot of Elite Dangerous. I haven't played as much getting set up here in the new house, but as you can see, I have lots of space. So even though room scale is dead mostly, now I have a very big space to enjoy so I can stand in the middle of it and press thumbsticks.
Wow, this looks pretty amazing. Like your background. When I first saw it, I thought like you were at work at some super nice Silicon Valley company, but no, this is your basement. So yeah, I wish I had this kind of basement. Nice. And Steve, I would also like to ask you, did I make you pre-order a G2?
No, I thought about it. So,
I failed.
You didn't fail. I am interested, but with the Pimax backer that I took over, I sprung for their $600 AKX upgrade. I'm still waiting on it, of course, Pimax, but so that is my high DPI headset whenever they get it to me. But for $600, it seemed to be the direction for me to go.
All right, that makes sense. So at this moment in time, what are you sporting? Are you playing with the Pimax 5K Plus or what are you using right now?
Still the 5K Plus.
Okay.
You know, it's been a good headset. It survived the move. It was packed up in storage for a month. You know, like I know they have lots of quality problems. I firmly believe that, but somehow mine has taken a beating and has been more robust than some other headsets.
All right. Yeah, cool. Great to have you. And great to have you here on the show, of course.
Thank
Great. So now let's talk with Chris. Chris, how are you doing? What have you been up to after the VR Roundtable show?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot. Not too much VR. I just haven't had the time. But yeah, I'm in San Diego now, so I moved across country from Vermont to San Diego in California. So that was a big move. Working at a self-driving car startup and as head of communications, so like doing the Twitter, support and all that stuff. So, I mean, that's been really fun. Always doing something with emerging technologies, it seems.
Wow, that's super exciting. And San Diego, I heard it's also pretty nice, right? It's like a good area to be in the States, I believe. And you're very close to Tony, right?
Yeah, we could drive. I think you're more northern, right?
Hey, Chris, is the smoke there? The smoke monster?
It got there, and it's from you.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, you said like you didn't play so much VR anymore. So, what are you sporting right now? What kind of setup? Do you have anything?
I'm still sporting the OG Quest. I just haven't had like the time to set up anything else, permanently.
Okay.
I don't even have my Rift S up here, which is really sad. I have some like friends have it back in, Vermont and everything. But yeah, the Quest has been holding me over every once in a while. I go in there.
All
And I
right,
mean,
yeah.
it was a big upgrade. I haven't like seen the UI in a while. I was like, whoa, everything's redesigned. The hand tracking felt a lot more stable. Like, I don't know, it just felt faster. I tried it a few weeks ago and I was like, wow,
Right.
I haven't used this thing in a long time. So excited to get back into it.
Cool. And yeah, things change really fast, right? Also, the resale value of the device is now
Yes.
down to what? I don't know, $200 or what? I don't know. It's like really, it went down so fast. And I'm just thinking about the people who bought it like a week ago or so. Whew.
Yeah. Mistake.
Right. Okay, cool. Chris, thanks a lot for telling us what's going on with you. And I would like to hear from Gary now. Gary, what have you been up to? Wait a moment here. Here you are. Gary.
So immediately after VR Roundtable finished, I played quite a bit of VR actually straight after, because I thought, like Steve, we sort of got into the stage where when you're doing a weekly VR podcast, you have to play the latest games, and they can be sort of plenty of indie titles and stuff like this. Sometimes it gets a bit too much where you've been inundated with these types of games. So I played a lot of Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, the games that I wanted to get back into after VR Roundtable finished. And then I built a arcade cabinet, which is behind me. So
You finished it.
Yeah, I love it. It's it's the best thing I've ever done.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I love it. Yeah,
Cool.
and my kids love it, and yeah, so that's it. I wrote a book as well about VR, so that's the other thing, which that took up a lot of time. But with lockdown and this kind of stuff, I guess a few of us had some extra time at hand as well to do these kinds of things. Pretty much.
Right. So you took the time of the lockdown to write a whole book about virtual reality. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was. I started it last year, and then I thought, lockdown's the time to knuckle down and do it. But honestly, as well, it was things like jobs around the house and just things like this. As time went on, like the last few months, I've honestly not dived into VR too much, really. I've stayed up to date with all the news and all the latest stuff, all the
Okay.
latest hardware, especially as well. But not much else other than that.
Right. And what is your setup? Your current setup?
It's a Valve Index.
Okay.
I've also still got the PSVR as well.
Right.
I've recently sold the Quest, but we'll probably get onto what.
Hopefully
I'm going
not
to
too
do next.
recent. Right. Yeah, cool. And yeah, well, I read your book, not completely yet, but I'm like probably 70%, and it's amazing. It's called The Memory Engine, and actually lots of the things that we're also going to touch upon later in this 1 hour pre-show, yeah, you kind of foresaw everything, right?
Well, no, I won't go that far. It's more just it's just sort of looking at how Facebook behave and that kind of stuff, and just sort of applying that to what could happen, I suppose. Yeah, but no, I think anybody could see the way it was going. So yeah.
Right. But this is really an amazing book, and for all the people out there who would like to read a really cool book about virtual reality and a kind of science fiction novel, The Memory Engine, all the links down in the description of this video, and it's absolutely worth it if you're interested in VR, and it seems you probably are interested into VR, because then you wouldn't be watching this stream. Cool. Great.
I want 15 seconds here just to
Okay.
point out that I did a podcast with Gary for more than 3 years, and during that 3-year period, he never mentioned that he was a published author and that he had several other books written under an alias. And I found out about the Memory Engine on Twitter, and I'm like, what the hell? How do I not know you're an author? Like, that's something you brag about, but he never did. He's a very humble man.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. That's
Blew
cool.
my mind.
So, Gary, is this actually this is your job to be an author?
No. It's a hobby. It's honestly a
Okay.
hobby for me. So
Okay.
yeah, it's a little bit of extra source of income, but it's not my job. No, I love it, but yeah.
All right, got it. Cool. Yeah, so great to catch up. No, Tony, sorry, Tony. I totally
Forget
missed
about me, bro.
You know why? Because I'm watching your show all the time, so I know what's up with you. So that's why. Tony, what have happened to you? What are you doing?
Same old, same old. You know, I'm still in this. Well, you know what? Actually, I've been working crazy hours, so I haven't been able to do as many shows as I would like to do, and I haven't been able to play as many games as I'd like to play. But I still keep up with everything. And if you tune into VR 365 every once in a while, I'll still have a show here and there that pops up.
Right. So all the people who are watching this live stream now and who don't know Tony, you have to absolutely subscribe to his channel. It's called VR365, and it's just such a good channel if you want, the news, and if you want to have Anthony rant about all the cool stuff, and it's just the best. So absolutely subscribe to VR365. I'm going to put the link down into the description as well. So yeah, cool. It's so nice to catch up with you, and I must tell you, it's an honor to have you all on the show. And it doesn't feel like this is an MRTV show. It feels like this is VR Roundtable, and I'm your guest. Yeah, but today I'm going to host this, and I'm super excited about this show. So. Only 48 minutes until Facebook Connect keynote. Mark Zuckerberg is going to go on the stage, and we're going to learn everything about the Oculus Quest 2. Now, we did already hear a lot about the Oculus Quest 2 because, was it the day before yesterday probably, or was it yesterday? Things are happening so fast here. Some videos got leaked, and most probably they were leaked by Facebook themselves for some reason, and I would really love to know why, and we're going to talk about this in a moment as well. So basically, we know a lot about the Quest 2, the upcoming Quest 2. We know that it's powered by a very capable SoC, the XR2 SoC. That's a chipset that is based on the Snapdragon 865, which is 3 generations newer than the Snapdragon 835 that is powering the original Quest. So there's lots of power in that chip. And well, this chip can handle a lot of things. Like it could handle 7 cameras. It could handle 3000 by 3000 resolution per eye. So very, very capable. And seems like the Oculus Quest 2 is going to be a super capable headset. Also, we learned that now we have 6 GB of RAM, 2 GB more than the original Quest. And we have learned that we have an almost 4K display. So even there's a bump in resolution. Really exciting. And I must honestly tell you, I for myself was unbelievably surprised because I believe that the Quest that's going to come out now is like a low-cost Quest, right? We heard the price leaks. That's going to be like $100 cheaper than the original, and I simply believed it's the same Quest, just more comfortable. That was what I thought, and I was completely shocked that this is an XR2 chipset and that we have a high resolution. So I would like to know about your feeling, your reaction when this dropped, and I would like to let's start with Chris. How did you feel when you heard about the news?
Yeah, I mean, I was very shocked, especially because I was waiting for Facebook Connect for the news, and I was just like, wait a minute, the whole all the videos, the official videos, all leaked. So that was just really crazy. But yeah, I also, like everyone, thought this was going to be a low-cost Quest, like a cheaper one, maybe using the Go screen or, kind of things from the Go to make it cheaper for everybody.
Right.
But it sounds like it's going to be cheaper and better in like every way. So that blew my mind. I think Facebook's really going for it here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what about the others? Let's just start a free discussion. Just like, what are your thoughts, guys?
Well, I mean, I thought that I was surprised, like you. I wasn't expecting a Quest 2. I was expecting more of a Quest S or a refresh, something like that. And ultimately, the takeaway, I mean, the hardware improvements are very good. And we'll get into it. I'm no Quest fanboy, but it's hard. It doesn't matter how you feel about Quest or standalone VR. It's hard to look at that spec list from the leak and not be surprised and not say damn a little bit. And if the rumored $299 price point is true, I'm thinking Oculus is taking a little bit of a bath on it to try to hopefully grow hardware adoption.
Right.
Who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't be surprised by this? Did anybody predict anything close to this? This is what I want to know. I know there was a few predictions on Twitter saying like it would be a Snapdragon 855 or something like that, but I don't think anybody predicted it would be XR2. And Anthony, I think you actually said previously, like going back maybe a few weeks or something on your show, like how there could be a Quest Color coming out with like an XR2 in this, but you didn't believe it. Nobody believed it, really.
Yeah, no, I thought there would be a Quest Killer. I didn't think it would have Oculus's logo on it. But yeah, no, I'm blown away by this. And Steve was saying, he's not super into Quest, but I do believe that standalone ultimately, like I think if we think like 10 years from now, like standalone is the future. Whether the compute is going to be in the headset or it's going to be like beamed in from the cloud, it's standalone is the future. I don't think there's any question about that. And Facebook with this hardware package is so far out in front of every other competitor. It is a boat race. And like Sony, like if you're Sony, I mean, we got a Sony thing coming up later today. Sony, like what are all these other companies going to do? Because the Quest is not going away. We're getting the Quest 2. We're going to get a Quest 3. We're going to get a Quest 4. And this is going to be a problem for every other company in this industry that doesn't step up. And honestly, for a lot of companies like HTC, you might as well bounce because you cannot compete with this, that you can't compete with this.
I think they shouldn't give up now already. I think they should still compete. And honestly, I would be very, very happy if there was a competitor, because what we're looking at right now, it's kind of a monopoly, right, in this kind of standalone game. And it's not good if there's a company that has all the power and can do whatever they want. So I would really, as much as I am looking forward to have this hardware, because you guys know I'm totally into hardware, but I would be really happy if there was an HTC that would come out with an amazing standalone headset, which also has the XR2 and probably is going to stream a VivePod Infinity. That's something that I believe could be a thing that might really be interesting, right? So I actually hope that there would be a stronger competitor. Would you agree with that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we definitely want competition, but also hardware specs usually don't drive the most adoption. Like the most powerful gaming console may or may not be the leading console for that generation. The most powerful GPU isn't the one that sells the most. So, Oculus being, having a maybe the most powerful standalone, that doesn't really translate to being the leader per se. I think it's the content and the platform delivery and getting people to want to buy it, and more importantly, after they buy it, to keep buying games and to keep picking it up. And that's something I'm going to touch on. If you're a member of the VR365 Discord, you've heard me say this a bajillion times, but content is king, and we got to convince all the Karens, the soccer moms, the random Joes out there to buy a Oculus Quest or to buy VR headset. But after we convince them to buy it, we got to convince them to keep using it and not put it on a shelf after they're over that initial Beat Saber novelty.
I'd say it's cost, though, as well. Cost is the primary thing, and nobody can compete on that front. That's the issue. Like, if HTC were going to put in a Qualcomm XR2 into their headset, which I believe they are, they're going to bring out a headset with an XR2 and release it. It's not going to be a $299, a $399 headset, and this is the issue. We need companies like Apple, we need Sony to do something. They're the real competitors in my mind.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense, right? Facebook can simply subsidize it, right? And you're not only paying this $300. Honestly speaking, you're also paying with your privacy, right? And we're going to talk about this a bit later in this stream. Yeah, super interesting. Like, one thing that I'm wondering, is this going to introduce fragmentation into the Quest platform? Because now we have two systems. There's a Snapdragon 835 Quest, and there's going to be a Snapdragon XR2 Quest, right? And if you really want to use that Quest 2 power, well, you have to make some games that are optimized for it. So what my theory on this whole thing is that we're having some kind of PSVR situation where there were two systems, right? The PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. And actually every single game had to support the PlayStation 4, even though the PlayStation 4 Pro, way more powerful, was out there. And then, yes, you did see some developers, they had some extra upgrades, but not all developers had this, because this actually means money, right? Investing in higher polygon count and like the man hours that go into making these two versions. So yeah, lots of them simply made one version and they were good with it. So I'm wondering, do you agree with me on this point that this might be the PlayStation VR situation where we have this kind of fragmentation?
Yeah, can I say real quick, just the PlayStation 4 Pro is called the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's not called the PlayStation 5. Sony didn't call the PlayStation 4 Pro a PlayStation 5, but Oculus has made the decision, which personally I think is a mistake, but that's a long story. They made the decision to call this an Oculus Quest 2, okay? And if you're gonna call this an Oculus Quest 2, I don't agree with the strategy, but if you're gonna have this strategy, then fine, go all in. Have exclusive XR2 games that tap the full potential of this headset, have all the capability. Like, go ahead. If you really want to like skip a generation and say, oh, we put this out 480 days ago, forget about this. We got a Quest 2. If you're going to do that, fine, but then go all in. Don't half-ass it and make it this like, oh, every game is on Quest 1, every game is on Quest 2, and the Quest 2 game is slightly different. It's got, you know, slight super sampling going on and stuff like that. No, man, you called it Quest 2. No one put a gun to your head and forced you to call it Quest 2.
Yeah, I agree, Tony.
Yeah.
But do you think this is actually going to happen? Do you think that they will do that?
I don't think they're gonna do that. I think even though it's so much more powerful, I think most of the games, at least for a while, and maybe this is the strategy forever, right? Is that this is gonna probably have high refresh rate. I don't remember if that was confirmed or not, but you know, probably 90 hertz, higher resolution. So, you know, you need a better chip to drive this. I think it's probably going to be the same games, just upscaled. I mean, they'll look better just, you know, based on the better screen and the more fluidity, the more comfort. And also you can, you know, downclock an XR2 and get a lot longer battery life. You know, potentially that's something they would be looking at. Maybe the usability of longer battery life is better than maxing out the graphics all the time. I think the original Quest kind of showed that in some way, but I don't know. Then enthusiasts would be sad that they're not using the full capacity of the chip. So.
I agree with you, Chris. That's what I think they're going to do. The development process is probably very similar for both Quest 1, Quest 2, and then when it's running on Quest 2, it uses that extra power for higher resolution, higher frame rate. One thing though, to Anthony's point, I get where he's coming from, and I think this just shows that Facebook is a little bit amateurs in this space. You know, they're a big, you know, name brand company and they got tons of money, but they're truly amateurs here compared to Microsoft and Sony and Apple. And it's like they're mixing, you know, a console like a PlayStation, Xbox mentality, and they're mixing it with the Apple mentality, where you got the iPhone 8, and then a year later you get the iPhone 9, and it's like they got one foot on both sides of that line, and they're maybe, you know, made us believe that the Quest was more of a console that with a 3-4 year life cycle or whatever it was going to be, but instead it may be trying to push us towards this yearly or semi-annual upgrade path, more like a iPhone or an iPad or something.
I can't see them doing that. To me, it seems like they thought it perhaps a mistake that they released the Oculus Quest as being underpowered at that time. Once they introduced things like hand tracking, which they managed to do and they got working, but not in a particularly satisfying way. Perhaps they thought, you know, we'll introduce this a year later, and then we can have 2 or 3 years with this device. That's what I hope, because this phone mentality of this device doesn't make any sense at all. And
agreed.
Yeah, and I just worry as well, this gap that they've introduced here between the XR2 and the 835 is such a big gap that they had no choice but to call it the Quest 2 because it's such a huge increase in terms of processing power. I agree with Chris and Steve in terms of I think it will have the same games and they will run at a high refresh rate, a high resolution, but that's not what most people that buy this device will want.
Yeah, so if it has the same games and it's basically the same games, then why do this? Why call it a Quest 2? Why go through all this trouble? They could have released a Quest 1.5 that was lower cost. They've got a great library. Didn't Zuck say we're selling these things as fast as we can make them? And they were. They're selling them as fast as they can make them. It's not like it was stalling and they're not selling them. Look, I know everybody in chat is like, who is this jackass that doesn't like technological advancements? I love technological advancements, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an enthusiast, all right? But let's remember who Facebook sold the Quest to. They didn't just sell it to us. Like, there were commercials on Dancing with the Stars. They were trying to get soccer moms. They were trying to get Joe Six-Packs. And some of those soccer moms and some of those Joe Six-Packs last summer or last Christmas paid a ridiculously overinflated price because they had to go to a scalper to get their Quest 1. They paid $900, $700, whatever dollars for a Quest 1. And now all of a sudden, this Quest 1, which has only been in existence for 480 days, is technically obsolete. But look, I know Oculus is not going to make it obsolete, so they're going to have they're going to have the games on both platforms, so they're never going to fully tap the XR2, because no matter how much they spin it at this conference later today, they're going to try to spin it and say, yeah, it's so scalable, so you get the full power on the XR2. They're going to try to spin it like that. But I guarantee you, if you sit a developer down and say, I want you to bang out the most banging game you can on this XR2 with all these new features, forget about the 835, that thing is history. The kind of game that they can make is substantially more significant than to have that ball and chain wrapped around their ankle and have to make it work on the Quest 1. We've seen it with PlayStation 4 Pro and OG PSVR.
Right,
I mean, OG
right.
PlayStation.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's a 2 and not a S is for like the Joe Walmart, all these kind of people, because if you see an S of a product, you know, most people won't buy it. Like they'll be like, oh, I already have a Quest. What am I doing? Maybe it's purely marketing almost that it's a Quest 2, because I can tell someone, hey, they came out with an entirely new Quest, and people are going to be like, what?
Yeah, right.
It's already the second generation of this device. I think that excites a lot of people. We called our product the 2, and everyone's excited about it just because it has 2 in it.
Well, it gets an overlap of previous Quest 1 owners that give you a cash infusion. Well, maybe not if you're taking a loss on the hardware, but by the way, I think what Anthony, one of the things that I hear when he's talking is that it continues to highlight confusion, I think, out of Oculus. Like if the Quest 1 was this success and they were very proud about it and they were screaming from the rooftops at how good the software sales were and all that, then what is the Quest 2 solving? Like if you were not interested in a Quest 1, what is it about the Quest 2 that suddenly makes you interested? Because it's not like you weren't buying a Quest 1 because, oh, the resolution was only, 1600, whatever the resolution was. It wasn't because it only has an 835. Like that's why you weren't not buying a Quest 1. So there's nothing about the Quest 2 that would make someone that wasn't interested in a Quest 1 inherently interested in it.
I think it's the price, if the rumors are true, right? Because, $299 is way better than $399, right? And for all these people who already bought the Quest 1, I think the numbers are not significant enough for Facebook to really care about those guys. They really want to get so many more people than those few millions that bought it now. Well, those first millions that bought it's probably most of the VR enthusiasts like us, right? But they still didn't really get to these, how do you call them, Joe Walmarts? We don't even have Walmarts here in Germany. But those guys, right? I think for them, $399 is still quite expensive in my personal opinion, right? I think we're getting to impulse buy at $199. What the go was. That is like a price where I think lots of people would say, hey, I'm simply getting this. So why do you think wouldn't it have been like smarter for Facebook to come out with that Quest Lite that costs $199 and is actually exactly what the Quest is right now, but lighter?
Absolutely.
I think so. Yeah.
That's when they killed the Go. That's what I was thinking this new Quest was going to be like. They made it white, and because I think we saw that leak, and I was thinking that maybe this Quest, would have optional controllers. Like, maybe you have the soccer mom that buys a $199 headset. It doesn't come with controllers. She can buy them later if she wants to play games, but you could still watch Netflix. You could still do those non-gamer centric things with a controllerless Quest that uses hand tracking to navigate menus. I was thinking it was more of a Go replacement, but within the Quest framework.
Right.
I'd say, yeah. I mean, I'd say that it was more like the simple fact is that it would have made more sense for Facebook as a business, in my mind, to do what you're suggesting, like a Quest Lite. That would just make more sense at this point. As an enthusiast, of course, that's I want this Quest 2.
Sure, we want that Quest 2.
Yeah, they're trying to like push VR forward in their way. But at the same time, they're trying to make it cheap. I mean, they're kind of conflicting things. If it was just business, they would do a Quest Lite. But I think Mark Zuckerberg still does want VR to happen, I think, and he wants it to get better. So maybe, this is like the wow moment for them. I think they're hoping, look, it's cheaper and better. Like everyone needs to buy this is what I think they're trying to do.
Right. So, we believe this is going to look better, right? The picture is obviously going to look better. We're going to have less screen door effect because we have this high resolution panels, and we have a more snappy processor. So this means probably we're going to get a higher refresh rate. So yeah, it's most probably going to pretty amazing, right? What do you think about the device itself? Do you believe that this is going to blow our minds?
I think, I think it probably will look a lot better than the original Quest, for sure. The thing is, as well, a lot of people as well that are talking about this, they're sort of comparing it. They're saying, maybe I should get this and use it instead of the G2, the Reverb G2, and maybe you can talk about that when it gets released, Sebastian, and do a comparison.
Compare them all, sure.
But yeah, using the Oculus Link, they could do this, and maybe we can get onto the possibility of like a wireless link as well at some point in the future.
Yes,
but yes. Using Oculus Link and use this, but purchase this device rather than getting a G2, it's a viable option. I don't necessarily think that's sort of a great comparison to make when you've got all this processing on the front, and no matter how good comfort is going to be with this device over the original Quest, I still don't think it's going to compare to like a G2.
I think so too. Well, I have the G2 here, right? And I don't think it can compare in terms of lots of things. Like, for example, the comfort. I believe that the comfort of the G2 is going to be way better than audio, right? The audio solution here with those floating headphones is going to be way better than that Quest 2. Well, I believe from what we saw, right?
MRTV.
And also, like, the graphics. Yeah, Tony, what is it?
No, it's okay. The G2 is probably going to be better objectively, right? But it's double the price.
Right.
And let's remember that this has Rift controllers. That the controllers are very similar to the Rift 1, to the first touch controllers, the handles.
Right.
So the ergonomics are going to feel better. The resolution is high enough at this point where, yeah, I'm wondering, is this going to be my daily driver? Now, we could talk about the comfort and the fact that it's so tiny. The thing is unbelievably tiny. And if I have a worry, I worry about field of view. But assuming field of view is okay and assuming comfort is relatively decent, even if comfort is god-awful, you're getting this for $299.
Right,
you could pay
$100
to get some special Halo thing for it. I'm sure there's going to be mods.
I'm sure. You're totally right, Tony. I totally agree with you. And I believe for the mainstream, there's no question they're not going to get a gaming PC that costs $1,500 to run the G2, right? They're definitely going to get the Oculus Quest 2. I totally agree with that. But I think for us VR enthusiasts, for most of the people who don't care about bringing it to another friend who want to play it at home, I believe they will still prefer to get the G2 or the Valve Index. Would you agree with that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'd prefer, because I think the link is just going to come with an extra layer of friction. That was a word we always used a lot on the roundtable. The other thing is, we were talking about the resolution, and I forget the exact language the leak used, but it said approximately 2 times the resolution.
50% more pixels.
Or whatever, right? Do we think that there's a possibility that that's referring to the same resolution, but a migration from of a Pental layout to a RGB layout, where it is approximately 50% more of the subpixels?
Are we talking about
the same
subpixels
native
here,
resolution?
Right? Wow.
Well, they said specifically with the resolution as well. It's 2K.
Right.
Didn't they say almost 4K or something?
Almost
so that would
4K.
say, yeah. So that would suggest that it's based on actual pixel count as well as sort of pixel density with the. I don't know.
I didn't track every little bit of the leak. I just kind of hit the high points, and there was the language was, language can always be tricky, particularly in marketing groups. So.
Right.
You know what I was hoping for, guys? What this is before we even knew it was Quest 2, and I thought it was a Quest 1.5. I was really hoping for a little mini HDMI plug on it, so that why have compression? Why lose anything? You got this higher resolution panel that you have in there that is going to make it look great. I mean, this thing, if it had a direct connection, like a little mini HDMI, I might use this over my Valve Index. I might think this is better than my Valve Index, even though I'm going to lose some FOV and all of that. I mean,
Perhaps it is.
The reason it's more than just video, though, you got to get the tracking data back and forth. So if you had 2 cables, a mini HDMI and like a USB-C or something, so that the non-video data and the audio can pass back and forth.
Right.
See, I think the link for Quest 2 is going to be like uncompressed, because most of the compression was just due to the chip in the Quest 1 and also just the bandwidth of the USB port. But what if they up this to USB 3.1? And I mean, the processor can definitely handle processing all this incoming data. We might get like a full-on real hybrid headset here that has no compromise. I think that might be what they're trying to do.
Agreed.
They're trying to get rid of Rift S entirely.
Rift S is dead for sure. Yeah, I think we can all agree to this. So
we were saying that when it launched, I think.
You're right. Yeah, you guys said that, right? So I think for this Oculus Link cable, who says it has to be exactly the same like on the current Oculus Quest, right? It can be totally different, just like Chris said, and I believe they have the knowledge and the capability to just make this amazing, and I think they will. I believe that you plug this in and you're going to have an experience that is way better than what you get with the Rift S. So that is interesting. And so let's now start to speculate what are we going to see in this keynote. So for the price, let's start with the price. Do you believe that the leaks are true and we're going to pay $299 for the 64 gigabyte version and $100 more for the 256 gigabyte version?
I don't see why anyone would doubt the leaks at this point. However, it does seem ridiculously cheap for that processor. I will say, like, that CPU. But then again, look, these leaks they're not necessarily coming from one source, and it seems to be like all the sources are pointing in the same direction. $299 for the 64, $399 for the 256, and I'll probably be getting the 256 if that's true.
All right, yeah. I also think it's going to be the price. Anybody who thinks the prices are wrong?
It's probably right, but it feels too good to be true. Like, even if it's 100 more, I don't think any of us would have hesitation, so.
I would think somebody like that guy Bosworth, that one guy Bosworth, I would think somebody would tweet, like, don't believe everything you hear about these. Like they would be a little bit worried if everybody and their mom thought this was $299.99, and then all of a sudden they got to tell us it's $499.
I agree, yeah.
Agreed. So the next big thing that I believe could happen in this keynote is the wireless talk. Like, probably they're going to say, hey, you know what? The Quest 2 it features Wi-Fi 6. And if it does, and the XR2 chip actually supports that, then it would mean that we have a higher data throughput, and they would have no problems whatsoever actually to have like wireless streaming on the Quest 2. What do you think? Is this going to happen in this keynote as like one big thing?
I don't think it will be announced here. However, I think they have to have this in mind. This has to be like one of the huge things that they are working on behind the scenes. It's got to be. I don't see why it wouldn't be this thing, because this could kill a lot of competition in terms of people that are doubting whether to get this or whether to connect it or whether to get the G2. I think most of those people, if they were told that it was wireless as well, and the fidelity of the wireless was comparable, highly comparable to having a wired connection, then why wouldn't you? I think this has to be something they're working on. I don't think it will be announced here, only based on the videos that we've seen. There's no mention of anything like that in the videos, that's all.
Right.
I think it's a little bit of us enthusiasts weighing in our wish list. If you look at the direction of the Quest, right? Like, even if they figure out the wireless, and even if they're able to, condense it down to a $50 add-on that's very straightforward and cheap, it's still something that people got to plug into their computers. Like, it's still going to be reliant on a Wi-Fi environment that is susceptible to someone, warming up a burrito in the microwave and killing your Wi-Fi connection. And it still introduces, it effectively eliminates the benefit that Quest brings, right? Like I'm not convinced that they want to go in the direction of continuing to support link and PC tethering, right? I think it's a stopgap. Like, and they may go with this direction on Quest 2, but I think in the long-term roadmap, like, I think they want to break that tether with PC, and if they quit investing in things like Stormland and Asgard's Wrath, that requires the PC, and I think the next year or so will tell us sort of where their intentions are, then I think, maybe 3 years from now, no one's even asking about Link. And I think that's what Zuck wants. I think Zuck wants to break free from the Microsoft environment.
All right. So you believe that this is going to have Wi-Fi 6? Just yes or no? What do you think, Steve?
I think, isn't that in the XR2? Isn't that within the SoC of the XR2? It's
supported. It's like,
okay.
But you still have to put it in there.
Yeah, I'm 50-50. I mean, it would make sense, but if they're penny pinching to hit this $299 price, maybe not. Maybe that was one of the cost-saving opportunities.
Could be. What do the others think? Wi-Fi 6, yes or no?
I think yes, because the chip is compatible with it. I think why wouldn't you throw it in?
Right. I agree with Steve. It's like a 50-50 thing, but I'm also wondering if Oculus would eventually like almost kill something like virtual desktop, like where it's like, well, we can do that ourselves, and they'll have their own little wireless connection plan that's built into the store and everything. I'm just like, I don't know.
Well, from the developer of Big Screen, they're trying to kill Big Screen, according to him as well. So I don't see why they'd stop with Big Screen. I think the reason they're not doing this, and the reason why is it Guy Godin who created Guy Godin. Yeah, he. I think the reason that they're not doing this is because the performance is not quite up to the level that they want to release in a final product. You can do it and it works okay, and some people will say it works fine for them, but up to the standard where it won't make anybody ill through motion sickness and stuff like that, I don't think the technology's there at the previous Quest point, perhaps with Wi-Fi 6. But I don't think they've got any doubts about just killing virtual desktop if they think they can do the same thing.
Right, agreed. So this is going to be like one of the exciting things that we're going to learn at the Facebook Connect keynote that's going to start in 16 minutes and 10 seconds. Yeah, we can see it here on that little timer that I put there. By the way, we got 2,077 people watching this live stream. Thank you for watching this. And well, why don't you share this URL with some friends? Probably we're going to get to 4,000. I would definitely be happy about this. And if you have not yet subscribed to MRTV yet, then absolutely do that now, because this channel is all about virtual reality. Yeah, my shameless plug here. Right. So is there anything more that you believe we could be hearing in this keynote about the Quest 2? Anything more?
So one of my pet peeves with Oculus or Facebook's strategy is they put it upon themselves. Like the consumers, the enthusiasts did not assign this goal to them. They have a self-stated goal of 1 billion in VR, yet so far they're very gaming centric. We know the gaming community is not 1 billion large based on just the sales of all the gaming hardware out there. It's just not 1 billion people actively in gaming. So in order to get to that 1 billion goal that they've set for themselves, they have to get outside of this gaming sphere. And I'm hoping, and I keep waiting and waiting and waiting, I'm expecting to see something in the realm of Horizons. Maybe they'll launch Horizons. And I don't know if Horizon is the key to unlocking the non-gaming circle, but I hope and would like to see some focus there that's going to again go back to get that Joe Walmart, the Karens, and all that of the world to who maybe doesn't want to play games, maybe casually play Beat Saber from time to time, but really wants to use the device to telework or use the device to chat with grandma on the other side of the world, whatever it is. Like there's that whole realm of VR that's not been unlocked, and Oculus has a very good chance, probably the best chance of all the companies involved right now to do that. And it's like they're stuck in this gaming rut and they're not getting out of it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, this also is a thing like the Abrush talks about, which is interesting year on year whenever he gives his little things at these Facebook events, these Connect events, I should say, where he talks about like having these virtual offices. These are the things that he wants, the non-gaming applications, a virtual office, and perhaps this is the device to deliver that kind of thing better as well. And we're getting closer to that. I still don't think most people will ever want to use even this VR headset for that kind of stuff at the moment, but maybe we're getting closer to that kind of thing.
Okay.
What about the possibility of additional cameras? We know there's 4 cameras external, right? But we also know the XR2 is capable of 7 concurrent cameras. And speaking to the social aspect, eye tracking is something we've always been interested in. This could have, we saw the inside of it. It didn't look like there were cameras inside there, but there still could be. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I don't think so, because we're not even sure of IPD adjustment. Yeah, we know there's probably some digital IPD adjustment, like very simple, something very simple, something very cheap. I don't think that they're going to put like eye tracking in there. And then it would be the incompatibility problem with the Quest 1. So I don't think we're going to get more. Yeah, unfortunately, right, Tony? This is going to hold us back a bit, just like you said before, because, well, things have to be still compatible with the original Quest if they don't want to completely alienate all the few millions who bought the Quest 1, right?
Yeah, man, they must be getting close to putting that in a headset, because the amount of papers Facebook releases on, facial reconstruction and eye tracking and like facial stuff just using internal cameras, it's very high. It's very obvious they're going to eventually do this. So that'd be a really cool surprise. Probably not going to happen.
Right. So, guys, now I am going to be the party pooper. And let's talk about the privacy concerns. So I think Facebook perfectly played this, right? They did so smart. Like, they dropped the Facebook login requirement bomb like a couple of weeks ago. They knew some people would get really angry and say they're going to never buy a Facebook product, and they're never going to buy this device because, well, you're forced to use a Facebook account. And they knew that this backlash is going to happen. They let it cool down, and then boom, XR2. Forget what I said yesterday. I want this thing. This is like what lots of people are basically going to say. I'm quite sure that this is going to work, this kind of strategy. However, I'm here to remind people that $300 is only cheap if you don't value your privacy. You have to keep in mind that with using this device, you have to use a Facebook login, and the terms of service, the privacy policy has changed. And I read it, and I would tell everyone to read that as well, and especially point number 5, where it says that your data can go out to third parties for marketing purposes, and well, also what you do in VR can be monitored for these kind of marketing purposes. So I understand $300 is really, really cheap. However, honestly speaking, guys, for me personally, I don't want to have a future of virtual reality where I'm being monitored. For me, it's the point that I want to get into VR. I want to be somebody else. I want to delve into this completely different world. And unfortunately, for me personally, it is now, I feel like I'm being watched. I'm being watched and I'm being monitored. And if I'm in Facebook Horizon, I'm even being recorded all the time. So yes, of course, I'm torn. On the one hand, I'm going to love this device for sure, because I love VR and I love this technology. But on the other side, I don't want to have a future for VR where it's normal that one company has this profile about me and they know every single thing about me. And well, in my personal opinion, and in the opinion of lots of people here in Germany, we are very sensitive about these topics. This is a problem. And I would really love to know, what is your take on this? And is it probably different in your countries?
Well, I guess I'll jump in first. I think it is an issue. It's a polarizing issue. Some people just don't care. Other people do care. But if you have Facebook on your phone, it's sort of already there, right? Like I know I'm not actively engaging in Facebook, but I have it on my phone. I use it to see what cousins and uncles and stuff are up to. And, if me and my wife are talking about buying patio furniture, then miraculously in the Facebook app, I start getting ads for her patio furniture, even though I've not actually searched for it. So this stuff is sort of already there. And it's going to continue, obviously, with the Quest. This is a big, important revenue stream. This is one of the things that company does. So, I don't have an answer other than it's a personal decision, I think, for everybody, how they feel about it. I'm not comfortable with it, but I guess I'm comfortable enough that I haven't deleted the Facebook app yet. I think, when we look at this amazing hardware, and again, I'm not personally a huge fan of standalone VR myself at this point in time, but the hardware is amazing. And when you look at that, like, I do wish it was literally almost any other company making this hardware and selling it at this rumored $299 price. I would feel better if it was Apple. I would feel better if it was Samsung, Sony, Agreed, Microsoft, so Same on. Here. So Facebook's probably the worst company we want out there doing it, but at the same time, they're the ones doing it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of this as well is simply the fact that people, because I've watched a lot of things, I've read a lot of things on Twitter from people who have takes on this, and they'll say, I don't care, and we what they know about me, if I'm being watched while I'm in VR, it really doesn't concern me. And that's one attitude to have at the moment, and that's okay. I don't really necessarily disagree with that, but I think it's important to take steps in knowing what they could do with this data in the future and the repercussions of allowing what they're doing and not trying to rein them in at the moment. This is the issue I have. The problem is, like you say, you're absolutely right. I think Facebook are the worst companies to do this because they literally run their company on trying to drag as much data, as much of our personal life out of us as possible. And do it. I don't care. What do I care? I've got nothing to hide. You can take all the personal information you want out of me. But the fact is, when that personal information is being used for things in the future that I don't know at this moment, that's when the issues come in. And I have a real big problem with just letting this go and setting a precedent for the future. That's the issue. Really.
I think this is really the point, the precedent for the future. Because right now, of course, it's fine if they know I play Beat Saber, right? Who cares? And I think lots of people will see it like this, but you have to see in the future. In my opinion, this technology is going to be huge. Well, we all believe it. And I believe in the future, we're going to spend lots of time in VR, working, learning, socializing. So probably you're going to go to your doctor in VR. You're going to have that virtual doctor appointment, right? And then probably you will not be comfortable that Facebook knows exactly how that doctor appointment went, if it's in Facebook Horizon, if this becomes the Oasis, if this becomes the metaverse. Or think about, probably you will not feel so comfortable to going to a political rally, right? No matter on which part of the aisle you're actually standing. But, well, all these informations, they are in the hand of one company who knows exactly what kind of political party you like and, probably what illness you have. So it's about privacy. And I think at this moment, this is like the precedent that is being set. Will people not care about it because, XR2 chip and cheap, or will they actually care about it and see, hey, probably it's not a great idea that I'm being watched in virtual reality? So even though I'm excited about this hardware for sure, I would still want people to actively think into the future. Do you want to be watched in virtual reality, or would you prefer not to be watched? So in my personal opinion, I really loved the business model of Oculus. Simply, there's a platform, we're giving you great hardware and a nice platform, you buy the games, and we keep 30% and you can do whatever you want. We're not watching you. And this Facebook business model, where they're watching you, make a profile of you in order to sell advertisement, I personally, I'm not comfortable with that in virtual reality. And I think this is setting a precedent. And I think more people should actively think more about it, what it means. And actually, $300 is only cheap if you don't value your privacy.
It's worth noting, so you have a lot of people in your chat saying, well, you're on YouTube and Google's monitoring, right? Most companies are doing data collection in one form or another, but not all data collection is equal. And you have to acknowledge that Facebook is far more egregious with it than just about every other company sort of in that same ilk.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but 10 years from now, Google, Microsoft, Apple, they'll be at the level that Facebook is at now. If you want privacy, jump in a time machine and go back to 1970. Or
but I agree. But only if this now flies, Tony. If this now flies, then you're right. Every other company is going to make it the same. So I think this is now the precedent. Will this fly? As in, okay, I don't care about my privacy because the hardware is so amazing. Or do people actually say, no, I'll probably go for the Index or the G2, which they're not going to do because $300 is amazing. But I really believe we shouldn't just be like, okay, you know what, it's going to happen anyways. If we are like this.
Facebook have built their business on this. This is all they do. All they do is take data. Apple don't do that. And that's the difference as well. Sony don't do that. This is why it's better in the hands of those people than it is in Facebook in my mind. However, I'm a hypocrite. I'm fallible. I'm weak. And I will be getting an Oculus Quest
Yeah,
too.
of course. I will also be getting it. That's for sure.
Yeah, this just flies in society, especially for younger people. We're all just like, yeah, everything's tracking us all the time. Our phone is tracking us constantly, and that's just the world we live in. I think younger people have kind of accepted this, but it's not good,
Which is ironic. It's your younger generation that loves digging stuff up from what someone said 20 years ago and getting them fired and stuff.
Oh man,
and
that's too far.
Sorry, just quickly, I'm just noticing in the chat. What I'm saying is with Facebook's company is built on the fact that they take data. Apple do take data, Sony do take data as well. I'm not saying they don't, but what I'm saying is Facebook is predicated on the business plan of obtaining user data and then selling it on through proxies, whatever, I'm
going to use Instagram, or I'm going to use Facebook. I feel like even the old Oculus terms of service was just as bad, and we're like, oh, it's separate, but it was still Facebook the whole time. I think it was Facebook all along.
Right. Yeah. Anyways, this is definitely something to keep in mind, right? Even though, for sure, we're going to hear some really, really amazing things. And I must say, I was pretty surprised, Gary, by your book, because actually it's kind of foreshadowing what's happening right now. So how did that come up? Were you surprised yourself?
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise how it came up around about the same time that I released my book, that all of this stuff started happening. But no, I mean, it was just really the fact is that Facebook, I saw the way that Facebook acknowledged accounts. You have to use your real name. You have to log in as your real name and your real identity. You can only have one account. And I just sort of applied that into this fictional company, really. It wasn't anything. I'm aware of the time, Sebastian, so I don't want to go on too long.
Right. So for anyone out there who would like to read a very interesting book about virtual reality, The Memory Engine, by Gary Walkden here in this panel, and yeah, all the links are down in the description of this video. Right, wow, it's only 35 seconds until the big moment. Let's see if something is here already going on with the streams. So far, I cannot see anything. I have to reload this here. Let me, oh yeah, okay. Good. So, guys, I think we're all excited, and I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you for the 1 hour pre-show. I hope everyone enjoyed this, and yeah, we're going to talk a bit more after the keynote is over. But now, bye-bye to you guys, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, and here we go with the keynote.
Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and thanks for tuning in to Facebook Connect. For those of you joining for the first time, Connect is usually our big conference with developers coming together from all over the world as we show off the latest in virtual and augmented reality. Now things are a little different this year, but we've got some exciting new things to show you, and I'm really looking forward to it. But first, I just want to say that I hope you are all staying healthy, safe, and good during this time. For a lot of us, COVID means living more of our lives online. Going to school, working, hanging out with friends. More is happening online now, but it's not quite the same. Most of us have been on video calls where people keep talking over each other, and staring at a grid of faces for hours just isn't always the most natural way to interact. What we're missing is this feeling of presence. The feeling of actually being right there with someone else, with all of the different sensations that includes. So that's what the whole fields of virtual and augmented reality are about, delivering that sense of presence. And that's why a lot of people have been spending more time in VR since COVID hit. I know I have. It's a way to get out there, even when you can't leave your house, and to see your friends and feel connected even when you're physically apart. And with all the heaviness in the world this year, it's also a way to have some fun and find some moments of joy. I've definitely been playing a lot more with friends recently, especially games like Echo VR, which is kind of like playing full contact Frisbee in zero gravity space, or Arizona Sunshine, where you can stand back to back with your friends as you fight off wave after wave of zombies. I've also been enjoying Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, which is this great party game where you're in VR and you have to defuse a bomb with the help of your friends who are outside of VR, and they're helping you solve the bomb's puzzles. And it gets hilarious pretty quickly depending on how helpful or not your friends are. Now, if you've tried experiences like this, you know just how magical it is to be together in one of these worlds with your friends. And as the ecosystem keeps growing and the hardware keeps getting better and better, we're starting to see how whole new categories of experiences could take place in VR in the future. So I'm looking forward to showing you what we've been working on. But before we dive in, you may have noticed that this event got a new name, Facebook Connect. And it's brought to you by a new group, Facebook Reality Labs. And that's because this work, to build the next computing platform, to deliver that sense of presence and immersion, and to make it the best platform for connecting with people you care about, that work increasingly requires us to extend beyond just our Oculus virtual reality product lines to include a lot more of the work that we're doing into augmented reality, into all kinds of long-term research, into more natural interactions like neural interfaces, into home and other wearable devices, and into software development like what we're doing with Horizon and what we have done for the whole history of our company. So we have one group that pulled together all of our augmented reality and virtual reality efforts, which we are calling Facebook Reality Labs. And now we also have one event to discuss all of this work, which we're calling Facebook Connect. Our goal is to deliver the products and technology that let you feel like you're together with the people you want, no matter where you are or the physical distance between you. So today, we're going to talk about how we're going to get there. Now, first, let's talk about augmented reality. The goal here is to develop some normal-sized, nice-looking glasses that you can wear all day and interact with holograms, digital objects, and information while still being present with the people and world around you. Maybe you want to just sit on your couch and have a friend teleport and have their hologram sit right next to you to play games or just talk or hang out. Maybe you're walking somewhere and you want directions, or you see something awesome and you want to share it without having to take out your phone. Maybe you don't want to have to carry your phone around at all, or have to worry about having it take you away from the moment. You're going to be able to do all of this with a pair of glasses. Now, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on some of the foundational technologies. Later today, we're going to share more about Project Aria, which is the first research device that we're going to be putting out into the world to help us understand the software and hardware needed to build our first consumer augmented reality glasses. And we're starting to put together all the different building blocks, including the input systems, the display systems, spatial audio. We have a team of computational neuroscientists and engineers working on non-invasive neural interfaces and ways to use subtle gestures to control augmented reality objects in the world. There's still hard problems to solve, but this has the opportunity to open up a lot of new ways for people to connect, to work, learn, and play in the future, and we now have line of sight into how we're going to get there in the coming years. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot that we can do today with the technology that we've already created in order to develop great smart glasses. They're not yet augmented reality glasses, but they're on the road there. So a couple of years ago, I started meeting with some of the best eyeglasses makers around the world. And this journey took me to Milan, where I met with the founder of a company called EssilorLuxottica. They're the best in the world at making glasses, and they make Ray-Ban and Oakley, and they design and build frames for everyone from Armani to Versace. And after spending time with their team and visiting their factory, I knew that they were the right partner for us to help bring the best technology together with the best glasses. And of course, in the future, people aren't all going to wear one or two different styles of glasses, like we just have a couple of different kinds of phones. So we need to support a lot of different designs and styles, and that's what Luxottica does. Now, we don't have a product yet to share with you today, but I am excited to share that we have formed a multi-year partnership, starting with building and releasing our first pair of smart glasses next year. Now, I can't go into full product details yet, but they're going to be the next step on the road to augmented reality glasses, and they look pretty good too. So here's a quick video that our team put together.
Introducing the glasses of the future. Cutting-edge technology ahead of its time. The eyewear of tomorrow.
Aiding the cause of science.
Inching my way towards the future.
I wish I could see out of this thing.
All right, so this is going to be a big milestone in starting to integrate the core technologies into a regular glasses form factor and seeing how people use them. And speaking of that, the most important part of any AR product is the experiences it can deliver. And I'm happy with how the AR software ecosystem is coming together too. More than 600 million people use AR across our apps and devices every month. People are creating some really awesome things with Spark AR, which anyone can use to build AR effects for Facebook and Instagram. There's also AR shopping technology that lets you see how furniture is going to look in your room, or how makeup or glasses are going to look on your face before you buy them. We're already seeing some of the creativity that augmented reality can unlock, and I think that this is all just going to get a lot better as AR starts to become even more mainstream. Now, let's talk about virtual reality. We are continuing to build out the Quest platform with better hardware, software, and content, and we're starting to see more areas where VR provides a clearly better experience than other platforms. So take gaming. I think Quest is already the best VR gaming platform, but it's about to get a lot better because a couple of years ago, we started working with some of the best game studios to produce AAA franchises for Quest. And today, we're going to share some of this work from developers like Respawn, ILM X Lab, Universal Games, and more. And we're continuing to bring even more of these games to Quest. This fall, Oculus Link is coming out of beta. And Oculus Link allows you to use a compatible gaming PC to play Rift titles on Quest. In the future, it's going to support 90 Hz for PC gameplay, and we're working on a new UI so you're going to be able to find all of your PC games right alongside your Quest apps all in one place. So that's coming next year, and it will give you access to a lot of native Quest features while you are using Link. Another important area is social products. We're building new social experiences like Horizon, which is now an invite-only beta, and it lets you create your own worlds where you can go and hang out with your friends. We're also building experiences like Venues, which I know a lot of you are using right now to watch this live stream. And I'm really focused on this area of social software because, as I've said a few times, I think that augmented and virtual reality are going to be the most social platforms ever. And we're really just scratching the surface on this right now. We're also seeing how VR can change work. Some of our Oculus teams already have their meetings in VR. And since COVID, I held my first management team meeting entirely in VR too. And I have to say, in some ways, it already felt more real than a video call because we had a shared sense of space. I always find that I have a harder time remembering discussions on video calls because from a visual and auditory perspective, there's no shared sense of space. Everything just looks flat. But in VR, even before we have avatars with full fidelity and facial expressions, just having that shared visual sense of space and spatial audio, that for everyone else in the room and people's locations looks the same to everyone else. You can hear where someone's talking from. It just makes a huge difference. Now, more people are going to work remotely in the future. Now, I think that VR is going to give you the ability to work from anywhere without having to feel a lot of that separation that current remote work setups bring. Facebook has already said that for our company, we expect 50% of our employees to work remotely long term. So we're invested in building out the tools that we need for our own people to work from anywhere, and then we're going to deliver them to the world. There are other advantages to VR for work too. Like you can design your own perfect workstation with infinite screen space and ability to teleport between different teams and projects easily. So we'll cover all of this and more in the rest of the session today. But before I sign off, I want to show you something new that we've been working on. And for this, we're going to need Boz, who heads up Facebook Reality Labs. I've been keeping him pretty busy during this lockdown, and here's a quick summary of some of our conversations over the last period.
Really, Mark? I mean, that's 5 in a row.
I told you I've had a lot of practice. Been spending a lot more time in VR.
Does he ever sleep?
Quest is awesome, but I've been thinking, people love it, but there are a few places where we could make it better. I mean, the screen's great, but I wonder if we could get 50% more pixels in there to make it even crisper.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. This is why I always lose in Echo Arena. Taylor, Mark wants to know if we can make the screen more crisp.
Yeah, we can do that. We could throw in a single high-res LCD panel.
Great.
But let's make sure we keep the built-in IPD adjustment.
Got it. But keep the built-in IPD adjustment, of course. We can keep the built-in IPD adjustment?
It's never been done before with a single panel, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
also think we could try to make the whole thing lighter. Let's try to cut 10% off the weight.
Could we put it on a diet?
Yeah, I think we could shave a few grams.
You got it, Mark. Leslie thinks we can shave off a few grams.
All right, one more thing. We've got to make the next version a lot more powerful. Let's see if we can advance the processor by a couple of generations and maybe add more memory.
Ciao, my buddy, my man. What about that new VR dedicated processor we've been working on with Qualcomm?
The Snapdragon Xi2? That is not an easy ask. We're talking about an entirely new architecture.
Mark, you're on mute.
If the team can pull this off, I think we're going to have something really great here.
Well, we're wondering if we could try out one more thing.
Yeah, we have an idea.
What if we lower the price?
Yeah, great idea. What are you thinking, 350?
Mark, come on, man.
All right. I'll think about it. See you guys soon. So that's a pretty big to-do list. But we want the next version of Quest to be another big step forward. We want virtual reality to be something that anyone can just jump into with the best and most immersive experiences out there, and we want it to be available to as many people as possible. Quest was a big step towards that goal. For the first time, you had real virtual reality with full freedom of movements. You could walk around with no wires to break that feeling of presence. And from day one, we were selling them as fast as we could make them. More than 90% of people who used Quest this year hadn't used an Oculus before. This is the form factor that's going to introduce people to virtual reality. And today, we are taking the next big step forward. And I'm excited to share with all of you Oculus Quest 2. Quest 2 has our highest resolution display ever with 50% more pixels. It's more powerful with a custom Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 processor and 6 gigs of memory. It weighs 10% less than the original Quest and has a new soft strap, so it's even easier to carry around. It has new touch controllers that are more ergonomic and have battery life improvements. It is shipping on October 13th, and we are opening pre-orders today. And it starts at just $299. The team has done an incredible job, and I am really proud of what we've built here. Quest 2 is lighter, faster, and has a better display than the first generation, and it's $100 more affordable. It is fully wireless, and it has hands down the best content library of any VR system out there. Now, there are a bunch of improvements that we have made to the hardware. We've been working on this with Qualcomm for years, and Quest 2 is the first major consumer device that runs on the Snapdragon XR2 platform. It's fully customized for VR and AR with support for multiple cameras and technology like fixed foveated rendering. And the end result is a more immersive experience with crisper graphics, more dynamic environments, and ultimately just a more realistic feeling of presence. The display is better. Instead of 2 OLEDs, Quest 2 has a single LCD for super high resolution visuals, and a new system for adjusting the optics that makes it easier to dial in the visual settings that are right for you. We've redesigned the touch controllers with more efficient tracking and optimized haptics. The new controllers deliver a better feeling of hand presence and stronger physical feedback. And for apps that don't use our full hand tracking, this is going to make a better experience all around. And we've also been making a lot of software updates too. For example, a lot of people have been using VR for fitness. It's probably one of the most fun ways to get in some quick cardio. And Beat Saber is a bit more motivating than a treadmill most mornings. So we've built in a system-level fitness tracker that helps you keep tabs on just how much exercise you're getting while playing some of your favorite titles. It's called Oculus Move, and it lets you set VR fitness goals and track them across different games and apps. And we're also experimenting with real-time stats and in-game overlays, and we're going to start testing this out on Quest later this year. Now, these are just a few of the improvements that make Quest 2 the best all-in-one VR experience out there. Now, I've really been enjoying using mine during this lockdown, and I'm looking forward to getting these in more of your hands in just a few weeks. Now, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to everyone in our developer community, and all of you who've been on this journey with us. 5 months ago, we shared that there were 10 developers who had made more than $2 million in revenue from Quest content alone. And today, there are more than 35 different titles on Quest that generate revenue in the millions of dollars. People have spent more than $150 million on Quest content. This ecosystem is growing. And now, with Quest 2 priced at just $299, a lot more people are going to be able to experience VR soon. So this is becoming a self-sustaining ecosystem now, and a lot of this success comes down to developers building great experiences. Because every time that someone gasps out loud when they see their hands in VR, or instinctively ducks or dodges something, that's the result of all the effort that you put in. So I want to thank all of you, because we are on this mission together. Now, walking the floor at Connect and getting to demo some of the new experiences that you've all built, that was awesome. And I hope we're going to be able to do that and get together in person again one day soon. But I also hope that together we can build something that helps us stay connected even when we are on different continents. Something that can help us feel present no matter where we are. That's what technology should be all about. And it is something that virtual reality can uniquely help us accomplish. So if we can build experiences that are as vivid and meaningful as being there together in person, that's going to unlock a lot of amazing things. It's going to mean that you're free to live and work and learn anywhere you want, to meet friends in new places, to explore and create new worlds. For the first time, we're going to be able to step outside the limits of the physical world and experience things and be part of communities that weren't even possible before. And I can't wait to create this with all of you. And now, to talk more about the journey ahead, I'm going to hand it off to Boz.
Thanks, Mark. At Facebook Reality Labs, we often say that we see AR and VR as the next step in computer evolution. From mainframes to desktops, desktops to laptops, and laptops to smartphones, these are what comes next. But why? Why do we say that? What right do we have to make that claim? And the answer, I think, goes to the very heart of what computers are and what they're for, and why a social media company acquired a virtual reality company, and why our VR conference is called Connect in the first place. I mean, everyone knows that computers are useful. I mean, they help us accomplish tasks more efficiently and accurately. But from the very beginning, they've also had another important purpose: to connect people. An early computer scientist to make this case was Doug Engelbart, famous for the mother of all demos, where he debuted things like the mouse, the graphical user interface, and hyperlinked text. But he also debuted shared document editing and even video conferencing way back in 1968. Along with his friend Stuart Brand, Engelbart understood that the coming computer revolution was about more than better technology. It was about finding ways to help people share ideas and experiences with each other at a distance. Now, that demo, in turn, inspired the groundbreaking work in places like Xerox PARC, Bell Labs, Stanford Research Institute, and others who made it possible for you to watch me on your computer today. Now, these institutions were the inspiration for our recent name change to Facebook Reality Labs. Like computers, I believe augmented reality will be useful, but I also believe our work on it is what will make it transcend the distance between people. Especially now, during this time of social distancing, I know how much it means to me to be able to spend time in digital spaces with my parents and kids when we can't be in the same room. Millions of people across the world know what that's like too. And that's why, over the past year, our conviction about the importance of meaningful social presence has only grown, and why we remain committed to a world where emotional connection is no longer contingent on physical proximity, where interaction at a distance is just as enriching and sometimes just as demanding as interaction in person. Now, VR is the first half of that vision. And as all of you know, we've come a long way. I mean, I remember my first demo. It was Toy Box. You know, you pick up a virtual dart gun and you could blast targets that were off floating in space. And it was very simple, but the potential struck me immediately. These days, VR is practically transcendent. I mean, I've climbed mountains, I've battled robots in zero gravity, I've explored alien planets. And I've done all these amazing things, but more often than not, I was doing them by myself. We have to continue to grow the VR community so that we can do more with our friends. So to bring in more people from more backgrounds, with Quest 2, we just built a better headset all around. I mean, it's lighter, it's faster, and it's got our highest resolution display ever. But all of that is small comfort if it doesn't fit right. That's why I'm pleased to announce some accessories we're launching for Quest 2, a fit pack, an elite strap, and the highly requested battery strap. Now, of course, it doesn't even matter how well it fits if it's not affordable, which is why I'm so proud that we got the price of Quest 2 down to $299. That's a full $100 less than Quest. That is a big deal. And if you're wondering what to do with that extra $100, be sure to stick around to hear about the great content our developers are bringing to the platform. Now, as I said at OC6, we're also building out our capacity for meaningful social presence in workspaces. We all know this has been a hard year for jobs and businesses. I mean, for those of us who have the privilege of working from home, we may have lost the commute, but we've also lost some of the community. For my org, for a lot of Facebook, and for people all over the world, Portal has been a real hero these past few months. And as of this month, in addition to Workplace, you'll be able to take meetings on Portal via BlueJeans, GoToMeeting, WebEx, and Zoom. With Portal as a dedicated screen for video calls, it's a lot easier to be present with your coworkers, and it frees up your laptop as well. But still, Portal is only the beginning of virtual presence in the remote workplace. I've been really impressed this year by the new collaboration and productivity apps in Quest built by third-party pioneers. And this is an area that we're investing a lot in as well. Now, longer term, we envision an enterprise ecosystem with expanding platforms and new business models made possible across distances. Maria's going to tell you more about that later in the program. Now, the second half of our vision for the future of computing is augmented reality, or AR. We've made a lot of progress in the lab over the last year, and I'm excited to share it with you. At its essence, AR is a way of placing a digital, interactive layer on top of the real world. Already, a good smartphone can apply AR effects to things that it recognizes, like objects or pictures, bodies, and faces. 3 years ago, we created the Spark AR platform to help people do just that. And to date, more than 400,000 creators from 190 different countries have published effects for Facebook and Instagram, the majority of whom, 55%, are women. Now, together, they've published over 1.2 million AR effects that are used by hundreds of millions of people every month across our apps and devices. In just the last 3 months, more than 150 effect owners have hit over 1 billion views and uses. It's pretty incredible. And I'm excited to announce that beginning next year, we're opening Portal and Messenger for creator publishing as well. AR effects in chat are a really fun way to connect, especially for families. Now, the behaviors that we see validated today are going to help us build a better AR tomorrow. And the promise of AR is the promise of an information-rich world where your capacity for knowledge, reason, and awareness is expanded well beyond your physical capacity to see, know, or recall. Now, in some ways, we already live in that world. I mean, we can do a lot with a smartphone and a good internet connection. And yet there's just so much more we could be doing. Our digital experiences are still mediated by heads down, eyes down, handheld devices. At Facebook Reality Labs, we ask ourselves, what if that was no longer the case? What could the future hold that's even better than this? Imagine a pair of glasses that could give you a 3D overlay of everything without having to look down at anything. This is a world where you accept a friend's phone call and a hologram appears right in your line of sight, where you're walking into a new city and the glasses not only give you directions, but they also help you spot hazards that you can't see. You want to understand a foreign language? The world translates itself for you. Now, sometimes we talk about the benefits of AR like they're superpowers, and they are, but not everyone has the same abilities. So for a lot of people, maybe for most people, it's going to be simply empowering. Now, before you get your hopes up, I am not here to announce V1 of our fully functional AR glasses. I'm sorry to say we're just not there yet. But I do have the privilege of sharing with you some of the work we've been doing in the lab. As Mark alluded to earlier, this is Project Aria. Now, these glasses are a precursor to working AR. It doesn't display any information inside the lens, it's not for sale, and it's not a prototype. It's a research device that will help us understand how to build the software and hardware necessary for real, working AR glasses. Starting in September, some specially trained Facebook employees and contractors will be wearing the glasses in real-world conditions, indoors and outdoors. Their sensor platform will capture video and audio, eye tracking, and location data, all to help us answer some of the questions that we need to ask before we release AR glasses to the general public. The first question is about hardware. What do we put on the glasses? I mean, think of all the things necessary for AR to work. Outward sensors that can interpret the world, inward sensors that can track your eye movements and know where to show you information, and computers to process just all of that. And then, assuming you could fit everything you need into a pair of glasses, how would they perform under different light conditions or different weather conditions? Which sensors can you do without? And where might you need more? These are questions we can't answer in the lab. So like all good science, we have to put our theories to the test. Another question we have is about data. I mean, there's a lot of data sets about the world from the point of view of satellites or even automobiles, but there aren't a lot of what's called egocentric data sets. How do we program software that understands what the world looks like from a first-person point of view? And more to the point, how do we balance what data we need to collect and process in the first place? At OC6, I introduced live maps, our effort at creating a shared virtual maps that are drawn from crowdsourced information. Basically a 3D spatial internet. If we can design glasses that can both build and use live maps, we can deliver an AR experience that requires as little data as possible. Michael Abrash will share more later about the technical aspects being worked on in the lab, but before moving on, I'd like to show you guys a video we produced with the research team that introduces Project Aria.
Aria is a comprehensive sensor platform that you wear like a pair of glasses and is used for research purposes.
At the beginning of Aria, we actually evaluated many form factors: the hat, the bracelet, but we settled on the glasses because it could give us the closest human perspective.
If you really want a system that is socially aware in a sense, it perceives the space like people do, you've got to look at the world from a human point of view.
This allows us to start to teach devices to see, hear, and contextualize, and making sense of the situation so that they could better help humans in the future.
Imagine you lose your keys, and now you have a device that's able to tell you, hey, you left your keys on the coffee table.
Or the ability to take your human senses and feel as if you are somewhere else in the world.
When we think about navigation, it's not just the turn-by-turn direction that you're getting from your phone, but it's really navigate you to anything.
Navigation also will unlock amazing possibilities in public safety and accessibility. Project Aria is about figuring out the right privacy and safety and policy model long before we bring AR glasses to the world.
We anonymize all the data, which means we blur faces and license plates.
Starting in September, a few hundred Facebook workers will be wearing Aria on campuses and in public spaces to help us collect data to uncover the underlying technical and ethical questions and start to look at answers to those.
Where do we go from here? Well, we learn. The project is really going to be a series of iterations, right? It's going to develop over time, a bit like, the internet.
We're incredibly excited about the opportunity that Project Aria and the future of augmented reality brings.
We're going to do this together, and it's going to be amazing.
Now, as the video mentioned, in addition to the technical complexities we're navigating with Project Aria, we've also been working to answer some questions about how and when the glasses should be used. New technology often has unintended consequences and negative externalities, and our job is to get ahead of ours. AR glasses will be cool, but they shouldn't be rose-tinted. In order to wear the research glasses, people will undergo training on when and where they can gather data. Sensitive places like restrooms or prayer rooms are obviously off-limits. Before data we collect in public is used for research, the data is quarantined and faces and license plates are blurred. Like a mapping car, all participants will be easily identifiable by their clothing. You can find more details about Project Aria online, and and we'll continue to use the lessons we gather to inform how we build and launch AR in the future. More generally, though, all of this is about operationalizing a set of principles for responsible innovation that guide our work in the lab. At Facebook, principles are not just a list of nice things. They describe trade-offs, things that we do even when the opposite might benefit us somehow. So, for example, when we're building, we should be transparent about how and when data is collected and used over time so that people are not surprised. We will build simple controls that are easy to understand and clear about the implications of a choice. And we build for all people of all backgrounds, including people who aren't using our products at all, but may be affected by them. We think about this a lot in the context of Project Aria. And we strive to do what's right for our community, individuals, and our business. But when faced with these trade-offs, we prioritize our community. Moreover, because we recognize the limits to our own understanding, we're working with third-party experts to expand our sphere of input. As part of these efforts, I'm happy to announce 2 RFPs for over $1 million around the principle, consider everyone. This research will focus on the impact of AR, VR, and smart device technology on non-users, especially non-users from underrepresented and vulnerable communities, as well as best practices for fostering welcoming and inclusive environments in 3D spaces. You can find out more here. We've also been socializing these principles with experts across the privacy, safety, and AR/VR community, and they've told us they're happy we wrote them. But talk is cheap. Trust is earned and not given. And we stand ready to be judged by what we do and not what we say. I want to give a special shout out to the tireless teams at FRL, delivering meaningful social presence across a lot of different products under very challenging conditions. The future of technology is bright, and I'm so proud to work with all of you. I mean, I've been excited about this technology for a long time. Just like the labs that inspire us, we hope that our lab can play a role in helping shape the future. The need for this technology is all around us in 2020. Sheltering in place has only intensified my sense of urgency for this work. Every day away from my loved ones grows my conviction that this technology is important. But as excited as I am to introduce this to the world, I'm even more excited to use it myself. I mean, I miss seeing my family, my friends, my colleagues, and all of you. Be safe, and we hope to see you next year, one way or another.
Right now, someone's working in the lab, and someone's going far away from someone that they love. But someone's working in the lab, so someone who is far away can be with who they love each day. Right now, some genius who's 8 years old is dreaming of a degree in a distant place beyond the sea. But someone's working in the lab, so the genius who was 8 years old can study from where they choose to live and be. Right now, there's someone wishing for some superpowers to run and play with super speed, finally freed. That's someone wishing for some superpowers, but one day live to be a super someone. Because someone's working in the lab. We need each other in this world. We need not few of us, but all. That's why there's someone working in the lab right now.
Right now, connecting with friends in VR is more important than ever. We want you to be able to spend time with your friends, your family, and your community in a way that defies distance and the physical constraints of the real world with virtual experiences. I'm Megan Fitzgerald, and this time last year, I shared our plans for Facebook Horizon, a social experience where you play, create, explore, and connect with others in an ever-expanding virtual world. Since then, we've been working hard to bring Horizon to everyone. A small group of early users and creators have been giving us feedback, and they're already building fantastic and incredibly creative worlds. And just last month, we opened the invite-only beta and began bringing people off the waitlist to join us in Horizon. And we're excited for more of you to join us soon and experience some of this.
1, 2, 3, 4. not.
Now let's talk about venues, a social experience where people can come together from all over the world to enjoy events together. This year, people have attended concerts, NBA games, and stand-up performances. And now we're working on an improved version of venues. In fact, some of you may be watching today's keynote from the beta version already. There's a new lobby where you can socialize before, during, and after the show, because we know one of the best parts of an event is chatting about the experience with others who were there. And we also have new content coming, including a brand partnership with Tidal. Beyond Horizon and venues, we want to make the experience across all of Oculus more social, so you can discover people to play with, experience new worlds together, and build communities as you explore. We've heard that people want easier ways to find each other in VR, to coordinate and jump into apps and experiences together, and of course, ways to easily find each other in those apps. So we're rolling out some new features in the coming months that'll make it even easier to play together. First, we're bringing Messenger to the Quest platform. With Messenger and Oculus, it's easier to coordinate with friends and play together in VR. When you're in VR, you can invite friends to join you through Messenger, and they can quickly jump into the same game or experience with you. And this also means you can chat with friends anywhere they have Messenger without taking off the headset. We're introducing new Oculus avatars, so people can express their identity and their personality with billions of permutations of customizations. Your avatar will be uniquely you. We're rolling out a new avatar SDK, so developers can also use this new avatar system, which will eventually replace the Oculus avatars we have today. These avatars will build on the visual style you see in Horizon and Venues Beta today. They're an early version of our new system. Here's a glimpse of what they'll look like. Oh, hey, it's me. We also want to make sure your avatar can represent you across all realities. So over time, we'll be working to let you use your avatar across the Facebook family of apps. And then I want to introduce a new experience called Challenges. It's all about you, the VR community, showing off your skills in your favorite games. Challenges allow you to create mini tournaments and challenge friends, your community, or the whole world. Whether it's a week-long competition to see who can achieve a global high score on that new Beat Saber song, or a daily motivator to get you and your friends to play Synth Riders. Now, groups of friends can play together and challenge each other, even when they're not in VR at the same time. And developers can create their own featured challenges, starting with Beat Saber, Pistol Whip, and Synth Riders. They'll have new challenges available weekly, so you can compete to be the best of the best. Challenges roll out on Quest today, and will become available on Quest 2 when it launches later this year. And now, Chris Barber.
Hi, my name's Chris Barber, and I work with the team that built Spark AR. Our team, together with our global creator community, is starting to transform the Facebook experiences you already use. These AR effects can be everything from helpful to entertaining. And by blending the digital with the real world, we can connect you to and allow you to communicate with people, places, and things in an entirely new way. Take shopping. With Instagram, we see the potential to bring the best of in-store shopping anywhere. Virtual try-on has been around a few years and is one of the earliest examples of how AR can help you to make informed choices while shopping online. AR Try-On has been live in Facebook ads and with a small group of Instagram checkout partners since last year. And we're excited to bring AR Try-On to Facebook shops soon. So what we've learned is that people feel more confident buying products like makeup or a lamp if they know how it'll look on them or in their home. Layer that with the ability to share with friends for a second opinion and buy without leaving the app, and you'll start to see how this becomes not just a way to shop, but one that's fun, easy, and personal. And it's not just the store that you can bring home with AR. It can be a museum too. Museums and cultural institutions around the world are capturing art, history, culture, and science collections in full 3D. It's about preserving history, but also about inviting more people to explore and appreciate culture no matter where they are. Paired with Spark AR, these objects become accessible to people in new ways, even if they can't visit in person. We're working with the Smithsonian to bring mobile AR experiences into the palm of your hands that spark curiosity and learning, from a triceratops on your kitchen counter to a pair of boots from the Wiz dancing around your living room. In addition to the Smithsonian, other experiences, including ones from the Palace of Versailles, will begin rolling out this fall. We also want to explore how this storytelling magic can extend to journalism. To lead the charge, the New York Times has formed a new AR lab within their newsroom. They hope to delight and inform readers by using AR technology to shape how stories are told. By delivering these stories where people already spend time, on Instagram, the Times can reach new audiences and help people better explore complex topics in an interactive way. One of the first stories, seen here, focuses on air pollution, allowing you to see particulate levels from around the world in your own space. There are many more AR stories launching across print and digital in the coming months. Each of these examples show you how AR on your phone can be a window to a new world. But what if we want to transport you to a new world? Well, AR can do that too. Earlier, Boz mentioned how Spark is powering new virtual shared spaces. AR is one of Portal's most popular calling features, and it helps make small moments more memorable, like these fun birthday cards. Families can share in the joy of reading with story time. Rather than turn pages, AR brings the illustrations to life and actually lets the reader become characters in the story. Every day, parents tell us this makes a world of difference. While kids may not sit still for a phone call, story time can help families carve out a few special minutes with that relative who lives far away. We're working hard to expand the Storytime library. It's important that this collection reflect and celebrate all the stories of our Portal families. The first in this new lineup will be Thank You Amu, the Caldecott honored debut from Oge Mora. Colorful cut paper designs capture a heartwarming story of sharing and community, inspired by the female role models in her life. Thank You Amu is launching on Portal next month. We're also excited to bring Kevin Carroll's A Kid's Book About Belonging to Portal. Its core message is about helping kids love themselves, even if it feels like they don't fit in. It teaches them how this love can help them belong anywhere. We'll have more to share on these titles and others in the coming months. I hope this gave you just a taste of what's possible in AR. If you're feeling inspired, join us. Check out our Spark Creator session this afternoon and learn how you too can bring this AR-powered world to life. Now, to tell you more about the fully immersive VR worlds dreamed up by Oculus developers, please welcome Mike Verdu.
I'm Mike Verdu, VP of Content. We are excited, encouraged, even stunned by the progress that VR has made in just 12 short months. So many wonderful Quest titles have launched in the last year, creating a catalog of rich, vibrant experiences. Our ecosystem growth is accelerating, and more developers are seeing success. But All of these positive developments are impossible to separate from the physical and emotional effects of the pandemic. This is an uncertain and difficult time. But creativity and art, well, they shine their brightest in uncertain times. And our new medium is bringing us together, even as many of us are far apart. We hope our technology is helping you to feel more connected, whether you're hopping into VR with a friend to hang out, play a game together, get some work done, or exploring experiences like In Protest, which lets you become better acquainted with the unsung heroes, preserving and extending our constitutional rights in the name of Black lives and racial justice. Our developers are finding new ways to stay connected as well, showing us the future of work as they defy physical distance to create amazing products. We salute these teams as they redefine the work ethic and compassion of this industry, adapting their processes in a new paradigm to launch titles that span every corner of the globe. So, 5 months ago, we shared that 10 developers had made over $2 million in revenue from Quest content alone. Today, I'm happy to share that over 35 titles on Quest have generated revenue in the millions since launch, and they're doing it faster than ever before. This summer, Onward's Quest debut made $1 million in revenue in just 4 days, faster than any other title on the platform. And Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted reached $1 million in just 8 days. These are powerful milestones that show how more and more teams are able to pursue continued VR development and see a return on investment. And as a result, there is an acceleration in creativity in all categories, from games to productivity, collaboration, fitness, education, and others. The coming year will be an exciting one. We have some major announcements as we continue growing our slate with the launch of Quest 2. So let's dive into this exciting new content.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Laverso, Vice President of Product Development at Ubisoft's Red Storm Entertainment. Ubisoft is pioneers in new technology. We're early investors in new consoles and tech, and we've been creating VR experiences since 2016, with titles like Eagle Flight, Werewolves Within, and Star Trek Bridge Crew, which are all available on the Oculus platform. And today, we are excited to announce our first AAA franchises for the VR market, which are Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell. For the first time ever, fans will be able to live these beloved franchises in a truly visceral way. Development of Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell will be led by Ubisoft Red Storm in collaboration with Ubisoft Reflections, Ubisoft Dusseldorf, and Ubisoft Mumbai. Both titles will be created from the ground up exclusively for the Oculus platform and will include elements of both the Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell franchises that players know and love. We are excited to share more about these projects with you. Stay tuned.
Thanks for kicking us off with that awesome news. Hi everyone, I'm Ruth Bram, and I've been a producer at Oculus for over 6 years, helping our developers make games and entertainment experiences for our platform. So let's talk about Quest. In addition to exploring the Quest content library with Quest 2, you'll be able to dive into original experiences with even greater scope and superior quality, thanks to the advanced capabilities of this new hardware. So I've asked a few of our developers making awesome games with Quest 2 to join us today and share their exciting news.
Hi everyone, I'm Jose Perez III, Director of Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. At ILMX Lab, we've been hard at work, crafting tales and expanding the world of Black Spire Outpost, which was created by our friends at Walt Disney Imagineering. After the award-winning success of Vader Immortal, we wanted to follow up with something lighthearted and a little more open, a project that will expand over time. So we'd like to invite you to explore the wilds of Batuu. Danger lurks around every corner, but it's nothing you can't handle with the help of specialized training droids and a good blaster at your side. Or you could always just hang out in the cantina. The bartender, Cecil Slack, might not make the best drinks, but he can tell a story that will literally transport you to a different time and place in the Star Wars galaxy. One of these tales will put you face to face with an iconic and powerful Jedi, Master Yoda. Before we go, let's take a sneak peek at one of the characters you'll join forces with along the way.
Someone, anyone, please help! My counterpart R2-D2 and I were on board a parts supply vessel bound for Batuu, but it was attacked. You needn't worry. I am a highly trained resistance spy. Dear, you'll do what? Don't be silly. You'll never make it. My circuits have had quite enough of the wilds for one day.
Hi, I'm Cha-Chin, founder and CEO of Big Box VR. We've been working very hard on Population One, a battle royale that is only possible in VR. I'm excited to share with you that it's coming soon to the Quest and Rift platforms, and you'll be able to cross-play between headsets. What makes our game special is our vertical combat system. You have the freedom to climb anything and fly anywhere in a fully immersive VR world. After launch, we will have ongoing live in-game events, so you will always have something fun to do with your friends. I can't wait for you to jump into Population One with us, and I'll see you in the game.
Hi, I'm Jan, head of the development at Beat Games. First, thank you to our passionate Beat Saber community. We could not have announced this incredible news without your continued support. For a while now, we've been exploring ways to play Beat Saber with a friend, or with many friends. I'm excited to share that Beat Saber multiplayer will be launching on October 13th. This is the biggest update to the game since we launched. I can't wait for you to try it. And we have one more thing from Deb.
Thanks, Jan. As you all know, music is core to Beat Saber. Thinking of who we could celebrate the launch of Quest 2 with, one artist came to mind immediately. Their music spreads positivity, transcends languages and borders, and has touched many lives, including mine. I am so excited to announce that our next music pack will be in partnership with BTS, featuring their recently launched characters, Tiny Tan. Tiny Tan have fun and distinct personalities inspired by the personas of BTS members. Through the magic door, they cross over from their universe to ours, transcending reality and imagination. I'm eager for you to meet them in the world of Beat Saber this November, and for you to play with other fans in multiplayer mode.
Hello, I'm Apurva Gandhi, brand manager at Crytek. It's hard to believe that the Climb launched 5 years ago before Rift even supported the touch controllers. Now, more than ever, it's crucial to expand our horizon, explore the virtual world, and connect with others. With a new city setting, 15 new maps, events, leaderboards, and more. We've been overwhelmed by the sustained community support received on the Climb franchise, and we can't wait to share the Climb 2 with you soon.
Hi, I'm Brian Gomez, Executive Producer on the Universal Games and Digital Platforms team. Here at Universal, storytelling's at the heart of everything we do, and we're always looking for new and innovative ways for our fans to experience the worlds we create. We're excited to do exactly that, in partnership with Oculus and CodeSync, by bringing you Jurassic World Aftermath. It's a thrilling survival adventure built from the ground up for VR. Experiencing Jurassic World in VR is a special kind of wish fulfillment. Set 2 years after the fall of Jurassic World Aftermath lets you race through Isla Nublar, retrieving valuable information while being stalked by deadly velociraptors at every turn. You're going to need to think quick, solve puzzles, and use all of your survival skills to get out alive. So here it is, your first look at Jurassic World Aftermath.
I'm so thankful for the relationship we've built with some of the developers behind these games, like Jurassic World Aftermath and Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, to ensure they're comfortable and engaging and an incredibly fun experience for you. And I want to share my enthusiasm for all of these new titles, because it doesn't stop here for the Quest platform. We're going to be rolling out even more high-quality and cutting-edge content. So let's take a look at some of the other titles coming to Quest. The Adepta Sororitas are brought to life in jaw-dropping, visceral reality. Embody these merciless women as they root out corruption in the war-torn world of Warhammer 40K Battle Sister. This holiday season, Pistol Whip will debut 2089, a gritty and cinematic sci-fi expansion where you'll an off-world plague of killer machines with all new weapons and music. In over 25 years since its creation, Myst is being reimagined for VR. Solve puzzles and travel through the ages in this graphic adventure classic. Then get ready to fight the undead and face gut-wrenching choices for you and other survivors in The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. And coming soon, Keep to the Shadows and Take Aim in Sniper Elite VR. Japan is home to a community of early Oculus adopters and has a strong history of game development. As we prepare for the launch of Quest 2, we've been fortunate to partner with well-known Japanese developers and have committed significant and long-term marketing and development budgets to Japanese-developed titles. So we're bringing Oculus to Japan in a bigger way than ever before, with Quest 2 available in more stores and with more content. At launch, you'll see games like Kizuna Eye, Touch the Beat from Activate, Res Infinite from Enhance, Space Channel 5 VR Kinda Funky Newsflash from Grounding, and Little Witch Academia VR from Universe. And later on, we're also looking forward to bringing our Japanese audience titles like Alt Deus, Beyond Chronos from My Dearest, Puzzle Bobble from Servios and Taito Corporation, and many more. Now you're probably asking, what about PC? We know that PC gamers are looking for a best-in-class experience, and that's why they've embraced Rift as the gold standard for high-fidelity gaming. But now we've got something that offers you an even better experience than Rift. Quest 2 plus Link gives you a higher resolution at a lower cost and future support for higher frame rates up to 90 Hz. It's the best way across the VR industry to play PC VR content. So if you have a VR-ready PC, you can use your Quest 2 plus Link to play upcoming Rift titles from our talented indie developers, and also upcoming titles like Lone Echo 2 and Medal of Honor Above and Beyond.
Hello there. I am Peter Hirschman, the game director of Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. I am terrible at making videos like this, so please bear with me. However, I would like to tell you it's been a phenomenal few years working with our good friends at Oculus to bring you a brand new Medal of Honor title. In Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, we're putting you in the boots of a World War II soldier so we can tell the stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things in the face of overwhelming odds. I'm happy to announce that Medal of Honor is shipping December 11th on Rift. It's playable on Quest with a link cable, and I'm very excited to announce it's shipping at the same time on Steam with full Steam VR support and crossplay. We're really looking forward to seeing you in the game. Please take care of yourself and wash your hands.
So as you can see, we're committed to the Oculus platform as the paragon of VR content. And that's why we're partnering with some of the most talented game studios in the industry to craft powerful and memorable experiences. Whether it's stepping inside the worlds that you know and love, exploring new ones, or even making connections with friends and family in spite of distance. And I bet you the titles we're launching in the years to come will be some of the best games in VR that you have ever played. Now, here's Maria to discuss the future of work.
Last year at Oculus Connect, I shared a vision for our VR-enabled future of work, where we could work from anywhere. I said it will take years, probably, before we could make the vision a reality. But then, nearly overnight, around the world, everything changed. And suddenly, we were forced to learn what it means to work remotely. And we experienced the joys, like being able to have lunch with your family every day, and the challenges, like building new relationships online, collaborating on complex problems, and sometimes feeling lonely. We are relying on a mixed bag of ways to connect. Email, video, chat, they all work, okay. But VR has the potential to get us closer to what we know we can achieve in person and a lot more. Our vision remains the same, but we have accelerated our efforts to get there. Whether you're on your own, running a small business, or at a Fortune 500, we think VR can help you work better. We are learning every day from the creative ways people are using VR. Scientists, for example, are doing collaborative drug discovery from home. We definitely need that right now. And every day, more companies ask whether VR could be good for them too. That's where Oculus for Business comes in. It already offers professional features like fleet management or enterprise-grade support. It's built on Workplace, Our solution, trusted by companies of all sizes, from SMBs to the world's biggest companies. We offer business-friendly ways to log in to the headset, like workplace accounts or no account at all. We are rolling out resources to help companies get started and for developers to meet this growing demand. This includes a new vendor directory and business channels designed specifically for app distribution directly to administrators. Quest 2 is going to be great for all types of work. It is lightweight and ergonomic, so it's more comfortable for longer work sessions. New accessories like our Elite strap with battery are designed to increase comfort and extend battery life. Compared to Quest, Quest 2 is packed with better processing power, so you can run heavier apps more smoothly. There's also a higher resolution display, so you can read text in docs and presentations more easily. On their own, these features are exciting, but combined, we will push standalone VR to new limits. We believe VR will be your next computer, a better way to surf the web, play games, chat with friends, and collaborate with your colleagues across distance. But before we can connect you to others, we need to help you on your own get things done. I'm so excited to introduce Infinite Office. Now, when I say Infinite Office, I am not talking about that feeling when you have been working from home for 14 hours straight, although that might feel infinite. This is something else. Check it out. Infinite Office is a collection of features we will be rolling out over the coming months. What you saw in the video illustrates the experience as we envision it. These are new capabilities we are designing to make your office, wherever it is, feel more productive and flexible. Let's talk about some of the features you will see first. Thinking about your workspace, we begin with this big area with multiple customizable screens, all without expensive monitors eating up space. And across them, Oculus browser provides you with a desktop-class web experience. The next cool thing is that the experience integrates with your real environment. You can attach those panels to multiple surfaces, like a table or a couch or a desk. It's easily portable and persistent, so you can pick things up right where you left off. Now you are truly free to take your office with badass monitors wherever you go. And you may be thinking, Maria, that's all great, but how can I work in VR if I can't even type in there? We all know one of the biggest barriers has been text input. So we took care of that too. In partnership with Logitech, we are bringing a physical keyboard into VR. You will be able to actually see your keyboard and your hands finally type, and yes, even copy-paste. My team and lots of others at Facebook are already trying out this Infinite Office. Initial features begin rolling out to Quest 2, first in experimental release this winter, so you can join us. We are starting with solo productivity, But there's a lot more we can do with these capabilities. We always want to power use cases that connect people and promote collaboration. And we have more in store. But I can't talk about that quite yet. There's one last thing I want to mention. We are committed to putting these technologies in the hands of developers too. And we have already started. Check out this prototype we did with Spatial that layers pass through with their collaboration app. That's just a glimpse, and we'll have more to share next year. It is amazing to see how far we've come since launching Quest only last year. But if you want to know where we're headed, and who doesn't, Michael Abrash is just the person to show you.
Good morning. I so wish I could be talking to you in person, but I'm still very much looking forward to sharing some of the AR technology we're developing at FRL Research. First, though, a quick update. Last year, I mentioned that my grandson had just been born. Now he's almost a year old, and he has changed a bit. In fact, he's grown so much and changed so rapidly that it's made me reflect on how remarkable the course of a lifetime really is. And thinking back on my own life, I realized that the things that have really mattered, both personally and professionally, have been the ones that I planted as tiny seeds, and that then grew over the years and touched ever more people's lives. In the long run, there is truly no more satisfying feeling, and I'm deeply confident that we'll all have that feeling when we look back on AR/VR years from now, because, as I've discussed at past Connects, AR/VR is the second great wave of human-oriented computing, combining real and virtual to explore the limits of human experience and change the way we live. Today, I'm going to talk about some of the technologies we're developing to enable the first generation of true AR glasses. Glasses that let us mix real and virtual freely and that are good enough to become part of everyday life. Now, be aware that this is research. Those technologies may take up to 10 years to make their way into products, if they ever make it there at all. That seems like a long time, but it's just the beginning. What's coming over the long arc of AR/VR will be far more than any of us can imagine today. Just as the personal computer developers of 40 years ago, myself included, could not have imagined the long arc of personal computing that's created the digital world we live in today. For all the ways personal computing has evolved over the last half-century, though, one thing has remained constant over all that time, and that is the basic way humans interact with the digital world, in the form of the GUI, the graphical user interface, which has been the gold standard of human-computer interaction since Doug Engelbart's mother of all demos in 1968. Information is presented to us on a 2D surface. We navigate it and select it with pointing, dragging, and clicking, and new information is presented. That has been phenomenally successful. But AR glasses need their own Engelbart moment, a new user interface that is fundamentally different from the GUI. A paradigm shift is needed because always-on AR glasses have the potential to be integral to almost everything we do. They will always be available to help us communicate, navigate, learn, share, and act. So the user interface has to work seamlessly no matter what we're doing. What's more, AR glasses will be able to see our lives as we see them. So for the first time, it will be possible for AI to be truly personalized and contextualized. That, in turn, opens the door to an interface that's proactive rather than reactive, that's intuitive, that understands our intent and acts almost before we know we need it. Ideally, that interface would have very little friction, would be highly reliable and private, and would allow us to remain completely present in the real world at all times. Most of all, the ideal AR interface would, for the first time, put us at the center of our personal technology, rather than adapting and reacting to our devices as we do today. Those are very ambitious goals, and it will take decades to fully realize them. But by planting the seeds now, we can get to AR's Engelbart moment, and then get that interface into people's hands over the next 10 years. There are many pieces that have to come together to enable the AR interface, including a breakthrough display system, a novel graphics pipeline, and new types of sensors, and we're working on all of them. But today, I'm going to focus on 3 areas that are at the heart of redefining the way we interact with the digital world: input and output, mapping the real world, and the interface itself. Input, how we send information to our devices, and output, how our devices send information to us, form the foundation for all human-computer interaction. AR input and output are uniquely challenging because they need to work easily and intuitively in all the situations we encounter in our daily lives. Let's look at two research areas that have the potential to revolutionize the AR interface. The first is electromyography, or EMG, a novel input approach that can read the signals on the motor neurons that run through the wrist to the hand. EMG is still in the research phase, but the Control Labs team that joined us last year is advancing the state-of-the-art rapidly, as we can see in this video. In a sense, this is a brain-computer interface, but it's an interface that operates where the brain signals are stronger, easier to read, and less ambiguous than on the head. In fact, the signals through the wrist are so clear that EMG can detect finger motion of just a millimeter, so input can be very discrete. And ultimately, it may even be possible to sense just the intent to move a finger. And EMG can be made highly reliable, like a mouse click or a key press. Finally, it can be very intuitive, since it can utilize actions you already do with your hands. Initially, EMG will provide just 1 or 2 bits of what I'll call neural click, the equivalent of tapping on a button or pressing and then releasing it, but it will quickly progress to richer controls. Here are a few early samples of how it could be used in AR. Pretty cool, but that's just the beginning. It's highly likely that ultimately we will be able to type at high speed with EMG, maybe even at higher speed than is possible with a keyboard today. Initial research is promising, as we can see in this video. So far, I've only shown scenarios that map to normal use of the hands, but there's plenty of bandwidth through the wrist to support novel controls. Imagine you put on an EMG bracelet and a Quest and look at your hand, and you have a 6th finger. You start to flex your hand and quickly gain independent control of that new finger. Then you take off the Quest, but you can still use that finger to click. Totally discrete and highly intuitive. Pretty much the ideal 1-bit input. Is the brain that neuroplastic? We don't know yet, but this next video makes me optimistic. That person was born with the limited hand functionality you saw, but it took him only 5 minutes to learn to control the virtual hand. There are years of research yet to do, but EMG has the potential to be the core input device for AR glasses. The other novel input-output area is audio, in the form of several research technologies that together have the potential to transform human communication. Let's start with beamforming, which leverages a microphone array to enhance sound from any desired direction. Beamforming makes it possible for AR glasses to extract your voice out of virtually any soundscape, so the person on the other end of a call can hear you even if you're in a crowded cafe speaking in a normal voice. Next, let's add in-ear monitors, custom audio devices like this research prototype that fit in your ear and can selectively filter ambient sound. Now, when you get that call in a noisy cafe, the glasses can mute the ambient noise so you can comfortably hear the caller. Next up are personalized head-related transfer functions, or HRTFs, personalized digital representations of the acoustic characteristics of our ears and heads that enable us to hear virtual sounds with the same clear directionality as in the real world. Now we can place virtual callers in specific locations near you, so conversations become much more natural and easy to follow. The final technology is audio propagation, simulation of how sounds move around spaces, which enables us to generate the subtle echoes and reverberations needed to create a convincing soundscape. Put all those technologies together, and virtual conversations can be indistinguishable from real ones, even when you're in a noisy environment. What if you're trying to talk to someone who's actually there with you in that noisy cafe? Just turn on beamforming, point the glasses at the person you want to talk with, and the glasses will pick out that person's voice and mute the ambient noise. If they have AR glasses too, direct glasses-to-glasses transmission will enable you to have a natural, relaxed conversation. This is all research right now, but when it's product ready, AR glasses will give us audio superpowers. Let's walk through a scenario of how audio superpowers could enhance our lives. First, let's see how the scenario would work with today's technology. By the way, you'll get the best experience of this audio section if you listen with headphones or in Oculus venues. Okay, let's say you go to that noisy cafe and want to study. The noise makes it hard to concentrate. Then a friend comes in. You try to talk, but it's hard and tiring due to the noise.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to make you jump.
I didn't see you come in.
Parking took forever. I had to circle the block.
Another friend comes in, and it's even harder, because now you're not always looking at the speaker when they start to talk, and seeing mouth movements is a big part of how you understand speech in noisy environments.
Sorry I'm late, guys.
Let me guess. Parking?
Yes, I had to battle for the last spot. What did I miss?
Finally, a friend video calls in. You all crowd around a phone and try to hear what they're saying on speaker, and they try to hear you over all the ambient noise.
Perfect. Hang on, let me flip the camera. How awesome is this? They do these amazing balloon bouquets.
They're beautiful. Neely would totally love that.
Oh, did you find a birthday cake to jump out of?
What?
Not a very satisfying experience. Now, let's see what it's like with audio superpowers. You sit down to study in the cafe and turn on ambient muting. It's easy to focus. A friend comes in. They have to tap you on the shoulder to get your attention.
Oh, sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to make you jump.
I didn't see you come in.
But then you turn on beamforming, and they come through clear as a bell. And their voice sounds like it's coming from them, not from a speaker.
Parking took forever. I had to circle the block.
That's okay. I was working on the list.
I see that. It's clearly labeled Millie's surprise party.
Another friend joins you. You hear whoever you're looking at clearly, although sometimes when the speaker changes, you miss a few words until you turn your head.
Party after all. Sorry I'm late, guys. What did I miss? Wait, where's
Let me guess. Parking? Mark is looking for a birthday cake to jump out.
battle for the last spot? Wait, where's Mark?
Finally, a friend calls in. You answer, conference everyone's glasses in, and you all talk freely.
That's him now. Hey, Mark. Leslie and Danny are here.
Perfect. Hang on, let me flip the camera. How awesome is this? They do these amazing balloon bouquets.
They're beautiful.
Thanks to your personalized HRTF, you can pick a specific location for your virtual friend's voice, just like your friends who are there in the flesh have a physical location. It's a lot like sitting around a table in your own dining room.
Neely would totally love that.
Did you find a birthday cake to jump out of?
The second scenario still isn't perfect, but it's vastly better. And later on, we'll see how to make it pretty much perfect. Let's shift gears now and look at machine perception, a very different but equally important aspect of building the AR interaction model of the future. This is similar to, but more far-reaching than computer vision, in that it involves your AR glasses not only sensing the state of the world around you, but also building a detailed, dynamic, persistent 3D map of the parts of the world that are relevant to you, and developing an understanding of everything that map contains. Let's look at what that means and what it implies. The foundation of AR is the ability to have persistent, shareable virtual entities of all sorts embedded in the real world, including such things as whiteboards, screens, CAD models, notes, pictures, rooms, outdoor settings, and avatars. The ability to have virtual entities is like a magic wand that lets you customize, annotate, and enhance your world, and share that with others however you wish. None of that can happen without a detailed 3D map of the parts of the world that are personally relevant to you, for several reasons. First, virtual objects have to be world-locked to be useful and convincing. That is, they have to remain steady with respect to the real world, just as real objects do. That requires accurate and robust tracking of where the head is with respect to the world. Now, head tracking alone doesn't require a detailed 3D map, just a current set of environment features to track. However, it gets trickier if you want world-locked persistent objects. How can they persist without some sort of database to store their locations? That becomes even more true when you want to share virtual objects with other people. That requires a common coordinate system, and again, there's no general solution other than indexing into a shared 3D map. And then, if you want to be able to share space with a convincing avatar of a friend who lives in another state, not only are precise location and orientation needed, but also knowledge of the things in the space around you, so the avatar doesn't end up cut in half by a table, and can be placed in natural poses, such as sitting in a chair. So both a selectively shareable model of the parts of the world that are relevant to you and an index of everything in that model are necessary in order for AR to mix virtual and real effectively. Finally, a 3D map of the world is necessary in order to allow AR glasses to run all day within a very tight power and thermal envelope. It would take far too much power if the glasses had to constantly reassess their context from scratch. So instead, they'll download the most recent data from the map, and then only have to handle dynamic changes, which are propagated back to the map. The end-to-end machine perception platform we're building that enables all of this is called Live Maps. Live Maps consists of a stack of 3 primary layers. The bottom layer, location, provides an accurate frame of reference for the locations of the wearer and their surroundings. That might not sound like much, but establishing highly accurate, always available, consistent, shareable 3D location and orientation in a way that can scale is in fact a tremendous challenge. The index layer builds on location to create a detailed 3D map of all the physical surfaces, structures, and objects in the parts of the real world that are relevant to you. This is a unique personal map based on your own location history, although parts may be shared. To the extent that you and others choose to allow, for example, public places could be globally shared. Index does quite a bit more than just provide static geometry, though. It also identifies objects and provides metadata about them, such as appearance, mass, modes of use, interaction with other objects, and dynamic motion. The index layer can tell you what kind of tree you're looking at, where you left your keys, and how many calories are in the sandwich you're about to eat. And it can predict the landing point for a tennis ball in flight. Finally, the content layer stores locations of virtual objects that are anchored to the real world, indexing them into the map. So the 3 layers together enable us to have virtual entities freely mixed with the real world. But powerful as that is, it's only one of 2 ways that Live Maps enables the full potential of AR glasses, and the content layer is the key to the second. Content is actually a somewhat misleading name, because the information the top layer stores is much broader than what is usually thought of as content. A better name might be the personal ontology layer. Ontology is a bit of an esoteric word, but for our purposes, it means that the top layer stores the relationships, histories, and predictions for the entities and events that matter personally to each of us, whether they're anchored in the real world or not, along with the interconnections with a variety of global knowledge graphs. It might store a virtual vase you have on the dining room table, but it also might store non-geolocated information such as the name of your favorite Thai restaurant, or the people who have RSVP'd for your party next week, or the ETA for your flight to Atlanta. And it links those nodes to knowledge graphs that define the concepts of restaurant, party, and ETA. In short, it's the set of concepts and categories, and their properties and the relations between them, that model your life to whatever extent you desire, and it can, at any time, surface the information that's personally and contextually relevant to you. So the location layer says where things are, the index layer says what's known about physical things, and the content layer says why things, physical, virtual, and conceptual, matter to each of us personally. You will have your own set of layers based on your unique life experience, so Live Maps will effectively be a virtual model of your life up to that moment. And that is the foundation for the second key aspect of machine perception, a truly personalized and contextualized AI assistant. To date, assistants have been able to understand relatively little about your personal context and needs, but that changes with AR glasses. Now, by querying Live Maps, an assistant can observe your world from an egocentric view, the same way you see it from a first-person perspective, and that is the basis for true human-centered technology. Obviously, we're a long way from that now. In particular, we don't have the necessary egocentric training data. So the question is, how are we going to bootstrap this breakthrough AI assistant? which brings us to Project Aria. Project Aria is a research effort built around the custom glasses you see here that is designed to record high-quality egocentric data, which in turn will enable researchers to advance the state-of-the-art around machine perception and personalized, contextually aware AI. Project Aria is not in itself an AR device, since it lacks a display, and it is neither a product nor a prototype of a product and will not be for sale. It is a research tool, and it is a critical step on the path to live maps and the interface of the future. One way to think about Project Aria is as an evolution of the methods which were used to build maps in the past. Since the 1960s, satellites have allowed us to map outdoor environments at tremendous scale, but they're limited in the map resolution and freshness they can produce. Low-flying aircraft and car fleets provided data capture at a higher resolution with increased update rates, but they're limited to outdoor environments. Backpack rigs can now map indoor spaces at high resolution, but are unable to fully capture the wide range of environments relevant to our daily lives. Project Aria is the vanguard of the next leap in data capture technology, client-based mapping, which will one day enable anyone with an AR device to build and use live maps wherever and whenever they need to, based on data from their own devices, particularly AR glasses. The use of egocentric data will make it possible to construct higher resolution maps that are dynamically updated at a much higher frequency, and will enable mapping of a far greater spectrum of environments than has been possible with any previous mapping technology. In addition to enabling state-of-the-art research into map building, Project Aria will let researchers explore what data AR glasses will need to capture in actual use, and how AI can most usefully leverage that data to provide personalized assistance. Let's take a look at each component of Project Aria in closer detail. At its heart, Project Aria is an all-day wearable computer and sensor platform with a powerful mobile-class processor, all wrapped up in an ergonomic glasses form factor weighing under 70 grams. The device is controlled by the wearer using a mobile companion app, which communicates via an encrypted low-energy Bluetooth link. As Boz noted, once a data sequence has been recorded and the device is placed on charge, data is uploaded to Facebook's research servers and kept in quarantine, meaning it's not made available to researchers. During the quarantine period, participants can delete segments of captured data from the system without accessing the raw data. Any data that is gathered in public places is also passed through a set of privacy filters by our system to automatically blur faces and license plates. A prominent LED indicates when the device is recording, and ending a recording is as simple as flicking the mute switch on the side of the glasses. Project Aria supports a variety of sensors that gather the sort of data that AR glasses will need to capture. These include a front-facing RGB camera, 2 side-facing monochrome cameras, and dual IMUs, which each contain an accelerometer and a gyroscope. This combination of sensors allows us to both observe the environment and track the position of the glasses, the wearer's hands, and objects within the scene. In this example, we can see the trajectory of the device being calculated from both the camera and the IMUs as the glasses wearer interacts in an apartment setting. In addition to sensors to visually observe the world, Project Aria supports 7 directional microphones for spatialized audio capture and 2 inward-facing cameras to monitor the direction of the wearer's gaze. By combining data from the inward-facing sensors with live maps, our researchers have shown we can project the gaze of the wearer into the map of their environment, creating a powerful tool for understanding user intent. The combination of these powerful sensing, location, and indexing technologies with an always-on wearable form factor raises important questions about the privacy controls that will need to be in place to prevent misuse. Project Aria has been developed precisely to enable us to address those challenges long before AR glasses are commercially available, and, as Boz described, already has privacy controls in place. Starting this month, Facebook employees will be using Project Aria devices in public and private spaces, including their homes, and also on our campuses once they reopen, in order to help inform the development of live maps and contextualized AI. That's just a quick look at the capabilities that Project Aria brings to AR and AI research, but I hope you now have a sense of why it's an essential part of building the machine perception foundation for the AR future. Which brings us to the last technology we'll discuss today, the AR interaction model. If you recall, Earlier, I said that the ideal AR interface would be always available, no matter what you're doing, intuitive to learn and use with very low friction, highly reliable, and private. It would be personalized and proactive, understanding your context and intent. Finally, it would allow you to remain present in the real world rather than being distracted away from it by your devices. Nothing like that exists today, but between live maps and the input-output technologies we discussed earlier, we now have the foundation we need to build that interface. There are actually two distinct aspects to AR interaction. The first is what I'll call high-bandwidth focused interaction. This includes direct person-to-person communication, such as spatialized calls and avatar interactions, as well as direct 6-degree of freedom manipulation of virtual objects. The audio technology we looked at earlier is key here, as are the hand tracking technology that shipped for Quest and the codec avatars that I discussed at the last Connect. These tend to be used for focused interactions with virtual objects or other people, such as the audio scenario we looked at earlier, or virtually collaborating on a CAD model. These sorts of interactions are intuitive, low friction, and easy to learn because they simulate actions we're already familiar with and will be used in well-defined modes. This is similar to how intuitive typing text into computers was when they were introduced, thanks to typewriters. This means that high-bandwidth interaction, while highly important, won't require any fundamental leaps in the interaction model. Which is good news, but that's the easy part. The hard part is the always available interface, the one that's a constant part of your daily life, that helps you with everything you do without taking you out of the world. This is the general interaction model that will transform our relationship with the digital world every bit as much as the GUI has. Right now, this is an early-stage research project, but I'd like to share a bit of our thinking because I believe it will become central to our lives over the next decade or so. Our core concept is to make interaction as powerful, easy, and intuitive as possible, and that's built on two pillars. The first pillar, as you'd expect, is very low-friction input technology. So when you need to act, the path from thought to action is as short and smooth as possible. Many input technologies will play a part in the AR interface, but EMG is the core of this pillar. The second pillar is the use of AI, context, and personalization to scope the effects of your input actions as tightly as possible to your needs at any given moment, so that user input can be as quick, simple, and intuitive as possible. Ideally, you'd only have to click once to do what you want to do, or, even better, the right thing would happen without you having to do anything at all. Advances in many areas are needed to enable this pillar, but the foundation is live maps. I'm calling the interaction model built on these two pillars the ultra-low friction contextualized AI interface. And yes, I am aware that ULF-Chi doesn't roll off the tongue like GUI. Let me know if you have a better name. To make this more concrete, let's revisit what our audio scenario might look like in the future. You sit down to study in the cafe and start to read. The assistant sees what you're doing and detects that the environment is noisy. So it asks whether you'd like muting turned on, and you neural click yes. Now it's easy to focus. A friend comes in and comes over to say hello.
Hey, Sarah, parking took forever. I had to circle the block.
The assistant knows to let their voice through, even though the ambient noise is still muted, and proactively enables beamforming. The two of you have a normal conversation despite the noisy environment, and it all happens automatically.
Surprise party. It feels like it needs a code name in case this list gets out. Oh, and here's Leslie.
As you talk, another friend joins you, and the assistant adds them as well. Thanks to the microphone array and visual sensors, the assistant is aware that you're engaged in conversation, and machine perception and audio direction of arrival analysis let it determine who and where the speakers are. So it automatically enhances the voice of whoever is speaking, whether you're looking at them or not, and you never miss a word.
What did I miss? Wait, where's Mark? Seems like the husband should be here. This is his wife's birthday party after all.
Finally, a third friend calls in. The assistant knows that all four of you are friends and asks whether you'd like to add the caller to the group discussion. You neural click yes while staying present with your friends. No need to look down or take a phone out of your pocket.
Hey, Mark.
The assistant answers, conferences the caller in with all three of you, and, leveraging live maps, automatically audio spatializes the caller into the empty seat at the table and displays their photorealistic avatar there as well.
I was thinking we We could fill the whole living room with them.
Audio propagation, together with live maps, allows simulation of the proper acoustics of the space you're in, so the voices sound natural. Thanks to beamforming and glasses-to-glasses transmission, everyone can hear and be heard clearly. Now, it truly is as if all four of you were sitting around a table in the quiet of your own dining room.
And then everyone could jump out from behind the balloons.
They're beautiful. Millie will totally love that.
Oh, did you find a birthday cake to jump out of?
What?
Seriously, who wouldn't want that? Everyone would benefit from communicating better in noisy environments, including, in particular, the 20 to 30% of the population that suffers from some degree of hearing impairment. In this scenario, the assistant was able to guess your intent most of the time and proactively do the right thing, and was able to ask a simple question to disambiguate when it wasn't sure. That allowed you to stay in the world, and together with audio superpowers, was a great example of how AR glasses can actually connect us more deeply rather than distracting us. Many cases are more challenging, but once we have AR glasses, we'll have the data that's needed to develop AI that can help you in an ever-increasing variety of personalized ways. What else will the ultra-low friction contextualized AI interface enable? That's kind of like asking what the GUI would enable back in 1967. The possibilities are vast and open-ended, and there will surely be some world-changing surprises. But here's a small sample. The interface could show you texts, email, and caller information, customizing whether, when, and how it alerts you, depending on priority and your current situation, such as whether you're talking with someone, and it could locate the alerts in the real world in ways that don't distract you. And it could automatically connect calls from people it knows you want to talk with, as if they had walked up to you and said hello. It could act as your camera assistant, freeing you up to enjoy the moment. It could enhance contrast in low light or for people with poor vision. It could remind you to put on a raincoat as you're heading out when the forecast is for rain in the afternoon. It could warm up your car just before you leave for work. Someday, when cars are self-driving, it could chauffeur you to and from work and your scheduled appointments. It could provide precise navigation guidance, both outdoors and indoors. You could ask it where the hot pockets are when you're in the supermarket, and it would take you to the exact location and highlight them on the shelf. And then it could recommend a more nutritious snack. It could find your car in a parking lot. It could remember where you left your keys, and it could warn you when you're absent-mindedly about to cross against the light. It could provide relevant contextual information ranging from points of interest to restaurant menus to whatever you're curious about at the moment. If you look for a few seconds at the Empire State Building or a flower or a book, the interface might ask you whether you'd like to know more, depending on your past interests and preferences. It could guide you through almost any sort of task, ranging from cooking to home repair to gardening, which would, in particular, make valuable skills available in areas that have limited access to professional assistance. And it could improve educational access by making it possible for everyone to have a personalized tutor. That's only a tiny fraction of what the AR interface of the future will enable, but it gives you a sense of its vast potential to enhance our lives by not only putting us back in the world, but for the first time, at the center of personal technology that adapts to us. The road to the ultra-low friction contextualized AI interface is a long and challenging one. But between EMG, egocentric data, and contextualized AI, I have not the slightest doubt that something a lot like what I've described will be how we will all work, play, and connect for however long the second wave of human-oriented computing lasts, which I think will be a very long time. I'd like to leave you today with one final thought. Technological revolutions don't just happen. Each one is created by a unique group of inspired, motivated people who can look ahead and see the long arc of the future while everyone else still thinks it's science fiction, and who choose to spend their precious time creating that future. We, all of us working on AR/VR, are those people. We're creating that future right now, planting seeds that will grow longer and farther and touch more lives than any of us can imagine today. And believe me, there is no better place to be in the course of a lifetime. Thank you.
talk about. And while we're getting the conference ready with the guests here of this session, please give us a few more minutes and then we'll be back for the after show. So absolutely stay tuned. There's more to come here on MRTV. All right, dear people watching the stream, I'm going to change now. And then we're going to go into the after show, into the after talk session here on MRTV.
I could see
that
the future was
done.
open before me. Written by others, pages of a remarkable book. But my life was not set.
Okay. Let's see. Ah, yeah, right. Okay. So, I have to be a bit spontaneous here because we lost two of our panel members. So, wait a moment. Let me just set this up.
There was a lot of stuff covered there, wasn't there? I tell you what.
Yeah, but have you guys seen the biggest news of the entire day?
What is it?
Go on.
The Oculus Rift S is being retired in the spring, and Facebook tells us it won't be releasing any new PC VR headsets.
Wow, this is crazy.
It's on Upload VR right now.
True.
This is on Upload VR right now.
Oh, really? Wow. This is crazy. This is really crazy. Okay, good. We're back. And yeah, this looks a bit spontaneous now here, what I came up with how this looks, but who cares? The main thing is we can see you guys and also you can hear us. So now this was really interesting. This was the Facebook Connect keynote, and we did learn everything about the Quest 2, or not everything. We still don't exactly know the resolution of the Quest 2, for example, but we do know that we're going to get it for $299. So, Tony, did you order it?
Yes, I did get my order in. I was trying to go to Amazon. I was trying to order it on Amazon, but it wasn't there. But it was on Oculus.com. And I felt like in a situation like this, you don't know, is there going to be limited supplies? Facebook has had situations with limited supplies in the past. Of course, we're in this unprecedented situation of the year 2020. So, dude, get your order in quick and ask questions later.
Right, right. So how about you, Gary? Did you get it?
Yeah, I thought I'd better go in and order it. I knew I was going to order one anyway, and I've gone for the 256 gigabyte version. Although I don't know. Maybe I should have gone for the 64. What I'm hoping for is I'm being optimistic here by going for the 256 gigabyte version. I'm thinking maybe we'll get some AAA, deeper, bigger in scope games that will, fill up that space. So that's why I did it, but who knows?
Right, right. Also, you can make lots of gameplay videos and record everything on the hard drive, right?
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's probably not bad.
That's
I
true.
got the small one. I got the cheapo.
Ah, okay, all right.
No accessories either. But
right.
because I don't know, the accessories, it's funny how they did this. This is the most interesting thing, guys, right? Because we all saw that price, $299 rumored, and we're like, this doesn't make any sense. Snapdragon XR2, $299. Right. This is not logical. But then what they did is starting at $299 because they got all these deluxe accessories you can add on.
I think actually this was like big news, the accessories. I think that's a super smart thing to do because, well, those flimsy things here from the Oculus Go, right, those straps, they don't make us happy in 2020, right? But like being able to upgrade this to this deluxe audio strap or however they call it, I think they're calling it elite strap, right? So it's also kind of some kind of deluxe. I think that is a really smart move. So all the people who would have said like, you know what, no, it's not comfortable enough. Okay, here you are. And having like 2 of these elite straps, one with battery, it will even counter all the people who say like, you know what, 2 hours is not enough for me. I want like 5 hours of continuous gameplay. So I think we really saw a power play here. We really saw like Oculus at their best or Facebook at their best and really using their power, the resources to give the consumers what they want at a great price and having people forget about the privacy concerns, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I agree completely. This is the thing, okay? Now, I've mentioned this before, how if Facebook weren't interested in VR at all, like they never had any interest, they never bought Oculus, there was no Facebook in VR, where would we be now in 2020? And I think we would be in a lower situation. Now, I've mentioned in the first part of the show how I have concerns over the privacy issues. I'm not a big fan of Facebook as a company, but you can't deny what they are doing is a company. I mean, Jesus, where?
They're killing it.
Yeah, who would replace them? Who would replace them now?
Right. I think they're really killing it, and yeah, well, they're doing just an amazing job. I think they are so smart, doing everything right. Everything is so well thought through, like the Facebook login requirements, letting us be angry about it like 3-4 weeks ago, and then like dropping all the bombs, all these things right now. So yeah, I really think they are just incredibly smart and bundled with these resources they have. It's just like a huge power play. And I agree with you, Gary, when you say like, where would we be here if it wasn't for them? However, I must also say that I believe at some point we would anyways get there, right? So probably it would take 2 or 3 years longer, right? And then probably we would not be in that situation where we're giving all our data to them. So I think it would still be possible, and it's still the question: do we want this kind of VR future where we be monitored? But well, anyways, lots of the least people will care. The least people will care.
There was a pertinent question. Well, just a statement in chat actually from Sake L saying, "Well, OMG, are you so stupid? They are creating spy networks serving for them," and that's true. I mean, you can't. I don't think you can deny that. That is true. That is true.
Sure, it is, and it is something to worry about.
It's funny. in the video that they just did, how many times did they talk about, now we're going to be spying on everybody and we're going to be wearing our Facebook shirts, but you know what?
That is
we're going to
everything's good.
spy responsibly, everybody.
Yeah, right. We're going to put on these shirts which say Facebook, and it's totally fine. Yeah, right. So wow, this is like this was like a really, really good keynote, I think, and I was actually surprised just like how much AR was there, right? I think if you would like look at like the percentage, it probably was more than the VR part, right? What do you think about this?
Yeah, it was way more than the VR part. I mean, there were like long talks about stuff that is like 4 years away, and okay, you guys are saying like Facebook is killing it. I've got a little bit of a complaint though. So we've got Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. It's coming on December 11th, and it's coming to Steam as well. And you might think, wow, why is it coming to Steam? Here's why it's coming to Steam, because they're basically just backing away from the Rift platform. And so they're like, oh, we're going to back away from the Rift platform, kind of. We're going to phase this out. So let's put it on Steam as well in good faith. Right. And there were we didn't get a trailer for like, where's the big game? Did anybody hear about a big game? The Jurassic Park thing looks cool, but it's not that huge.
You know what?
Did it look? Go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
just one more thing about the Medal of Honor guy. I think I just loved it when he said, like, you know what? It's also coming out for Steam VR, like the other company which is doing like lots of VR things here, right? Valve. And I simply loved this moment. And yeah, this guy was really cool. So yeah, greetings out to the Medal of Honor guy. I think that was amazing.
Oculus paid for the game though, right? So isn't it weird that it's coming to Steam? I believe Oculus basically funded this game.
Right. So it's really very surprising actually. But
sorry, Sebastian.
No, you go ahead, please.
No, well, all I was going to say is something that I spoke a second ago. Well, in the chat as well. I believe. Look, it seems to me that Facebook are leaving behind PC VR, and they commissioned this thing. Medal of Honor before they had made that decision. So they had invested a certain amount of money into Medal of Honor, and then they realized it was going to take a little bit more money, and they didn't want to stand that amount when they are moving away from PC VR. That's why I don't think this is outlandish to say that they said to the developers, look, you can make extra money if you can then release it on Steam VR. Go ahead and do that. I just feel like their move away from PC VR is so, I mean, it's blunt. I think it's so clear to see now.
Right, totally agreed. It's like they are totally abandoning the Rift platform, and they even said it. Right? Even this lady, I don't know her name, she said like, yeah, the Rift is the gold standard for VR, but you know what? We got something better. It couldn't be more obvious. They said like, you know what? We have something better here with the Quest 2. It has a higher resolution, and if you connect it to your PC with the Oculus Link cable, then you have a headset that is better than the Rift S. Boom. So the Rift S is completely dead. They're totally going away from the platform, from the PC VR platform, and everything is going to be on the Quest 2. And in the future, I don't even think there's going to be like two stores. They're going to combine it into one store, probably in a couple of years, like probably streaming everything into the Quest 2, which has an XR2 chipset, right? Probably this is something that is upgradable because that processor is so capable. So I also believe that's also the reason why they didn't come up with that Quest Lite, but with this Quest 2, which has this chipset. So they are absolutely ready to stream onto that device for that streaming future that is totally upon us.
Hey, you know what? That is a very good point, because I think with Wi-Fi 6, and we're still waiting for like all the details. Unless you guys can find them, I can't find like all the specifications. I just find nothing but generalities on the website. But with Wi-Fi 6, if you get the right router and everything, you could have in your Oculus Quest 2 headset, you could have a menu where it just automatically sees Stormland. It automatically sees, all the Rift games, and so you don't have to like You're just like in the menu. You can play a Quest game, you can play a Rift game. You got to have, and you don't need a cable because you got the Wi-Fi 6.
Agreed. And they did say something about like combining the content that you have. If you are like connecting your Quest 2 with your PC via link, then it's going to be like a new menu with all your games and all your Quest games all in one. So I believe that would be possible to do that wirelessly too. Yeah, so wow, this is really some interesting things, and I believe lots of people are going to pick this headset up for sure. And but we do have some points that we did not hear about. So yes, we know we got a bigger resolution of the device, but we don't know the exact resolution. Also, right?
Yeah, well, we're seeing 1832 by 1920. I've seen that a number of places, but I don't know if it's just the same people repeating the same information. We don't know if that's for real or not.
Oh,
but if anybody has, it was in chat. It was in your chat.
Oh, really?
18. Yeah.
Okay.
What was it? 1832 by 1920. A lot of I've seen it in other chats as well. I've seen it on Discord.
Okay. Tariel Wood's review has the resolution, says Geldonetic. So okay, it seems to be in some of the reviews. Have to check them. Have to check them out later. Yeah. So okay. So what does it mean? 1,800 times 1,920. Yeah. Yeah, nearly 2K.
That's pretty good.
It's
That's
nearly
pretty
2K.
good.
That is
pretty good
for sure. That is definitely pretty good. Did they say anything about the FOV? Probably the same, right?
I would
think
imagine
the FOV might be smaller.
Well, yeah, the one thing that's concerning me about this headset is the FOV, because especially for people with a wider IPD, where you've got that IPD adjustment for the lenses, you haven't got it for the single screen panels.
That's a good point there.
So that's a big deal for people with wider IPD, I believe.
So the thing is, this means also that actually the resolution that was just told us here in the chat, it cannot be fully utilized because they must change the picture, right? They must move to the left and to the right a bit.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some space that is not being utilized on that panel, and well, it's for sure it's going to look better, but the question is, how good is it going to look? Also, Tony, like we talked about this in the pre-show, about the Quest platform, and is there going to be like Quest 2 content that is like banging it out just for the Quest 2? And it seems like no, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but real quick, I did want to just mention that supposedly the IPD settings, there's the 3 different spots, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly at the lowest, it's 58. In the mid, it's 63, and at the far end, it's 68. But I don't know if this is like real information or if this is like, so I don't know if that's absolutely for certain, but that's what I've seen. And I've seen the 1832 by 1920, 90 hertz. So just wanted to get that clear.
All right.
But,
okay. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
But
right?
yeah,
90 hertz makes sense.
Absolutely. As far as like the XR2 dedicated software, yeah, we didn't see anything like that. And the Jurassic Park thing looked pretty cool. The Climb 2 looks pretty cool, but I don't know that it looked like it was like a whole new world or anything, but looks good.
What did you think? Here's the question, because that Jurassic Park thing, Jurassic World thing, whenever I think of Jurassic World, you think of these really amazing rendered dinosaurs, and this didn't look like the game for that. It looked like more polygonal, cell shaded look that it'd gone for, which is okay. That's fine. It's just that it's not really what I was expecting from that kind of game. That's the only concern I have with that. And it's okay if it's a smaller game. It's not a big deal, but
right. But anyways, we did hear about some other games that sound pretty interesting, right? The Assassin's Creed IP is coming to the Quest, and also Splinter Cell. These are like names, huge names, and I think this is going to be good for VR because there's so many flatties, how to call the people who like flat games, flat earthers, who kind of like who need those kind of big names to be interested in VR, right? Because if not, they say, oh, there's nothing on the platform because they know nothing of these VR games, right? So do you think it's going to be huge for VR?
You know, one thing that's weird about it though, no footage. Like, we didn't see any footage of Splinter Cell or Assassin's Creed VR. And the thing is, I think those games were in development for PC VR. And I think at some point Oculus did say, you know what, nip that in the bud. Medal of Honor is already way too far in development. We'll finish that out. But the Assassin's Creed team and the Splinter Cell team, we're switching. You're switching to the XR2. You're switching to the Snapdragon 835. And I think that's why we have no footage of Assassin's Creed VR or Splinter Cell VR. Because didn't we hear this rumor at least a year ago?
Totally agreed. Exactly. I'm totally with you here. This was made for Rift probably, and then, well, they had to change it to make it possible on Quest. Right. Unfortunately, we also didn't hear now exactly if now everything has to run on the old Quest, but I believe it has to, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, from what it looks like, it seems to be that case, which is not really a surprise, is it? I think from before the show, we're all sort of leaning in that direction anyway, although, you know, there was always the possibility that they could have this alternate thing. And especially, I mean, Anthony, you can feel free to dive in here, because with it being called the Quest 2, that sort of sets an expectation, doesn't it? What do you think?
I think earlier, when we did our show earlier, and Steve was talking about how Oculus is this they're inexperienced. Like, they don't know the video game world. They've only been in the video game world for a couple of years. I can remember back to 1995 when Sony first jumped into the video game world, and they were doing a lot of amateur stuff as well, because they just didn't have the experience that comes with a Nintendo or a company that's been there longer, right? And so I think Oculus, they did kind of position it almost console-like, but then they're doing the iPhone thing with constant updates. So it is a weird thing. Now, they didn't say anything specifically about every game has to run on Quest 1. So Oculus might be a little loosey-goosey about this, but you naturally expect that Jurassic Park Aftermath is going to run fine on Quest 2 and fine on Quest 1. We expect that all these games are going to run on both, but I don't know that they're carving something in stone saying this is absolutely a mandate. Hopefully not.
All right, great. I'm just reading in the chat. Thank you so much for giving us the information here. Michael Marin, Engadget website says 53 millimeters, 63 millimeters, and 68 millimeters IBD, launches with 72 hertz refresh rate, and then you're getting a 90 hertz upgrade down the line. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. Weird. Let me check out that website though. Let's have a look at that.
Weird. That
is weird.
That almost tells me like they're not even using the XR2 right now.
Right.
It's almost like they're running it like in a simulation of an 835, and it's like we're not even going to turn on the Oculus 2 stuff yet. That is weird.
They also already have the device, the Engadget guys.
It's got to be 90. It's got to be 90.
Here it says cons. 90 hertz isn't available at launch.
Weird.
And then cons, standalone games still limited by mobile hardware. Okay, that makes sense. Cons, fit adjustment is a bit wonky. Okay. Interesting, right? With the 72 hertz, that they don't come out with it.
Yeah, that is
really
that's
strange. That's super strange.
Well, so I guess they're using it for resolution purely. Is that right?
Oh, it is 1832 by 1920 per eye. It's right there on the website. So that is locked in.
Yeah, getting the information here live for you from all the different websites. It's cool. It's actually, I like this. So well, this is a surprise that it comes with 72 hertz. I totally don't get it, because that chip can easily do 90 hertz.
I'm sure that's got to be coming pretty quick after it gets released. Yeah.
So
also, the XR2 chip, I think it's being used because the refresh rate of the tracking of the controllers, I think that was 30 hertz, and that's gone up to 60 hertz. I don't know if that's mentioned on that website as well. So we might get better tracking with the controllers, but also hand tracking as well. So there's a lot of things that might be improved. I am surprised, like you, Sebastian, with that 72 hertz though.
Yeah, everything here, live as it happens. And I just got a question here by Anon Yashinki. MRTV, don't tell me you don't already have the device. No, I don't have the device. Unfortunately, I don't belong to the inner circle of Oculus, so I have to buy it just like the regular Joe Blow.
The regular Joe Blow. Yeah, the Joe Blow, the Joe Schmo.
Exactly.
He'll give us a fully honest review, so it's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally fine. I can wait a bit for it, and then of course you're going to get the MRTV review of the device, and I'm going to pit it against the G2 and the Valve Index and the 8KX. Anything you want me to do, I'm going to do it here on MRTV. Wow, this is...
Hey, MRTV.
Yeah. Yes.
So the Oculus link cable, it says access the Rift library with your Quest 2. This 16-foot USB 3 Type-C cable connects your headset to a compatible gaming PC.
Okay.
Do we have any idea, though, if that can that pass the full bandwidth for like 1832 by 1920 per eye off that connection?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the USB 3.0, this is really capable.
Yeah,
so I'm sure this is
okay.
going to look really good. So probably you're going to get the full resolution then if you use it like tethered to your PC, and that should look really good. Oh wow, very interesting.
The other question, I have another question. So the Oculus the Quest 2 Elite strap with battery and carrying case, this deluxe thing, right? The cool thing about that is the battery could act as a nice counterweight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're so right.
But here's my question. Does anybody have like a good picture of this where like is there going to be a wire dangling, or did they think of a beautiful way to like have like almost no wire? Although I'm looking at the picture of it here and I do kind of see this white wire going around the side there. It would have been nice if they could have figured out an even more seamless way. If you ordered their actual thing, like the wire would just be invisible practically because it would already have a connection back there built for it or something.
When I'm looking at this, all I think is, how good would it be if they came out with like a little dongle, a little wireless dongle for $50, $100 even. This would be the product that could really elevate VR, honestly, if they had that, I think.
A wireless dongle for what, Gary?
For the Quest 2. So what I'm saying is, if they came out with like a dongle that you could buy where you don't need the link cable to connect it to the PC, you just put in
But isn't that the Wi-Fi 6? Isn't that Wi-Fi 6?
Yeah. If it's got the Wi-Fi 6 included, and then you can just purchase an official Wi-Fi 6 dongle from... The thing is, it's different. So...
to bypass a Wi-Fi 6 router, you mean?
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So you can do it through virtual desktop or whatever if you've got a Wi-Fi 6 router, I should say router, I'm from the UK. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If they can come up with a simple USB dongle that could do this thing, I think that would be a huge benefit.
Yeah, and why shouldn't they do it? They have shown it before. People wanted this cable, this link cable, and they just did it, right? And I was really surprised, like how good things they came up with in the times of the Quest, right? The hand tracking, all the things that people were thinking could happen, it actually happened. So I think it makes just sense that, I don't know when, for the next big conference or whatever, they say, you know what, look at this dongle. You simply put it into your PC and everything's going to be perfectly wireless, boom, right? I really think it's going to happen. It should happen.
Hope so.
It's interesting. On their accessories page, they've got a relationship with Logitech. They got Logitech gaming headset for Oculus Quest 2. They got the G33 VR gaming earphones for Quest 2. And then they've also got a connection with VR Cover for a facial interface and foam replacement set for Quest 2, $29 for that. They also have this package where you can get 2 facial inserts, either narrow or wide. My question is, which one comes with it standard? It's probably narrow, huh? So I'm going to need to order this wide one.
Did the original Quest come with 2, though? I thought it came with... it came with the glasses insert.
It came with the glasses insert, exactly. So
just the glasses spacer.
Right.
But it does come with a face gasket that's already built in, but we don't know like which is that like a different version that's not even this other one.
Right. Anyway, so what other kind of accessories do we get? So we get two straps, right? Two extra straps, 2 elite straps, right? And what are the exact prices for you guys?
So so the Elite strap on its own over here in the UK is £48, and then for the Elite strap with the battery pack, and then they sort of throw in a case as well, it's £119.
Okay.
So it's quite a big jump actually for that extra battery pack.
Does it say like what kind of capacity the battery has? Are there any kind of information?
It just says add more playtime and ergonomic support with a built-in battery. Quest 2 carrying case. You also get a carrying case. The cheapo, the little. Although the carrying case, like they're charging $50 for that all by itself.
Too much. Yeah, it's too much.
This is really expensive, I think.
It really is like an add-on-a-thon, you know? I mean, if you add all these different little things on, all of a sudden your magical $299 Quest is like $600. But
it's just
I get it.
Very smart to go that route, right? So
you know what we need though, MRTV. You know what we need on this accessory page?
What is it?
We need a gun. Where's my plastic gun?
You're right.
You know, I want a PlayStation aim controller for Quest.
You're right. That would be really, really amazing. Yeah, wow, this is crazy. You know what? Get lots of messages now from my German friends here in Germany because we cannot order the device.
Yeah,
we cannot order the device. So it's interesting to see what happens here in Germany if they decide to sell it here or if it's not going to work out, and how it's going to work out for the other European countries. Are they going to follow suit? Somehow looking at these regulatory measures. Well, but anyways, this move not to sell in Germany, it was not actually told Facebook by our government. It's something that they came up by themselves.
Quest 2 is on Amazon, everybody.
Okay, really?
Quest 2 is on Amazon.
Oh, wow.
Check that out, Sebastian.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
Also, the other thing is, it's surprising to me that Germany, I mean, I guess they're just being the most practical in terms of how GDPR is, because I believe this device does violate GDPR. So all the EU companies should really ban it. But that's what I believe, and you know, I've not looked into it enough to know that for sure, but yeah, it's strange.
It's really strange. Like for us in Germany, we are very sensitive about all these kind of issues, and Facebook did have problems here because they were kind of combining the user data of WhatsApp and Facebook and having some kind of super data sets about all the users, and that's it. That is where Germany said you cannot do that simply like this. You have to have the users really agree on that. And there Facebook got lots of problems, and I suppose they already see these kind of problems coming here with this device and the GDPR, right? So that's something that is ongoing here, and it's just interesting to see how the other European countries are going to look at that. Anyways, a lot of people are definitely going to try to import it from some friends who are in the UK or some other places. So.
It's actually a bigger story than I'm surprised nobody's like some of the bigger sites are not taking this up, because this is a big deal.
It is.
That Germany are not allowing this at the moment is a big deal. I can't believe I've not read more about this on some of the bigger sites, honestly.
Really. So this is huge news. I mean, and Germany is like a big market, right? We are like more than 80 million people, and it's not something that you can just don't care about, especially because other countries might just follow suit. So this is something that we absolutely have to look into, and interesting, really interesting.
Yep.
Anyways, other than that, is there anything else which was striking you? So
the lack of games, I think that was striking me, man.
Oh, really?
Because did we get any huge banging games like what Myst and The Climb 2? Like, not a lot of announcements, I didn't think.
Okay, but we did get the Beat Saber multiplayer announcement, which was pretty interesting news, right?
Yeah, and that's free. I think it's just an add-on, right? Or do you have to, or maybe it's DLC, or
Probably
is it
yes.
just an update for the existing game? If it's just an update for the existing game, like the 360 mode, that's kind of amazing that we just get that stuff for free, because every other company would try to squeeze every penny out of you.
I don't know. I don't know if a company would do that for multiplayer necessarily. If it was purely a multiplayer thing, I hope it is free. Honestly, I didn't know if it was either way. But yeah, that's good news. And look, Beat Saber is going to be a big deal for this. This $299 Quest 2 with Beat Saber. If you, I mean, how much is Beat Saber? It's not very much, is it? It's only what, $20, £10,
$29.99, probably $30.
Okay,
probably, I think.
But the wider community, like the wider gaming community, talks about Beat Saber all the time. So it's going to be a big deal. And the fact it's got multiplayer, it can only be a benefit for the ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that, honestly. But right. I thought it was going to be free.
Right.
Wow. I'm gonna be right back. I'm grabbing my debit card, guys. I gotta get my order in real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I thought he already ordered it.
He did. I think he's ordering it on Amazon and cancelling his.
Right. This is such an interesting evening today.
It is, yeah.
So in overall, Gary, are you? How is your overall perception now? Is this was this a win for Oculus, or probably yes, right? Or what do you think?
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I think overall it was. I think it was great. Anyway, I think if we didn't have the leaks.
Right.
Like a couple of days ago, it would have been huge.
Oh,
like,
we would be blown right now. Our mind would be blown.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, I think it's still fantastic anyway. What they're doing for VR as a whole, I think it's great. There's plenty of caveats with any of this stuff, of course, and we've discussed them. But right. I can't argue with the fact that this device is probably one of the premium devices for the price. Yeah, it's one of the best VR devices. That's simply what it is.
Yeah, it's simply people are going to pick it up, of course, right? Normal people who don't have a gaming PC, who want to get into VR. There's no question they're going to pick this up. So this is for sure going to be just as successful as the original Quest, most probably more successful, right? With all the thinking that goes inside. And then even, what we didn't talk about at all is that actually they do want to also make a dent in enterprise. They talked about the Infinitive Office. You can now get a keyboard.
That looks really good.
That looked amazing.
Really good.
That looked amazing. You can get a keyboard from Logitech, which you will see in VR, which I personally think is friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
It's just like exactly what I need. Yeah, I want to do everything in VR. And just like typing blindly on the keyboard is okay, I can do it. But seeing it in VR, that is actually pretty amazing news, right? So, yeah.
I was just going to say, so based on what we saw today, because that did look great, I would love that. With the keyboard, did it make the rest of the room semi-transparent through VR as well? Was that an option in there? I thought I saw that at some point.
I also think I saw something like that.
Yeah,
right.
That would be a great thing to have as well, if they could pull that off.
Right. So, wow. So even making a dent for business solutions and enterprise, and especially at that price, I think lots of companies are going to pick this up, right? They're already working on a Oculus for Business platform, or actually it's already rolled out, and now introducing this Infinite Office and having this keyboard, lots of things that speak for that as well, and also. It looked really good, this Infinite Office. It looked like you could totally work in VR, and then if you want to work somewhere else, you just simply bring the Quest and you have everything. There was one moment where this lady, she left her normal desk, and then she went to her room on her bed, and she simply continued with hand tracking.
Yeah. I think the potential of it is great. I'm still not convinced that even with the Quest 2 that this will be a viable way of using that kind of stuff. And maybe, maybe I'm just being a bit of a downer on that, because I would love it to be that. And maybe if I can get a hold of one and try it, then that would be great too.
You want to talk about a downer? I'll tell you guys about a downer. Okay, so when I dreamed of a Quest 2, and I'm talking about a legitimate Quest 2, first of all, I didn't think it would come this early, you know what I mean? Because I thought we'd get a Quest 1.5, and I thought a Quest 2 would be at least another year away, maybe even 2 years away. And when I was thinking of this Quest 2, my dream was you put it on your head, and as soon as you put it on your head, bam, you get a full color pass-through. Yeah, so you see your pass-through full color. And we've seen in all the footage, everything, all the backgrounds, it's the standard black and white pass-through that we've had for a while now. MRTV, let me ask you this. Do you think it's just way too aggressive to like jump to a new level of camera technology where it would actually be color for that?
I think they still have to look at their costs. They still want to make some profit at least, or not like lose too much. And probably if they put in better cameras with full color pass-through, I believe they couldn't make the $299 price point. Did that make sense? Gary?
No, it makes sense.
It did. I was thinking when I'm looking at these prices and you're saying about them not losing, too much money, because what is it that they are doing? What magic sauce do they have other than literally sheer investment that they are able to produce this device for this? It's got to be just money. They're throwing money at this device. It's got to be that, hasn't it?
Exactly. So for sure
they're buying market share. They're buying market share.
Right. They're buying market share, and again, they're going to get the money by advertisements. Yeah. Right? They're going to show them to us perfectly. Targeted at us. So yeah, this is definitely how they do it. Wow, crazy. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff shown today. I didn't take notes, so I can't actually bring up anything else. I'm looking. So I don't know if you've got any. I have some notes, and let me just check it out if I can find something more. Okay. Wait a moment. So, lots of AR stuff. I think it's too much to get into the AR stuff, and people are watching the stream because of VR, so I don't think we need to get into that. The Logitech keyboard, Infinitive Office. They mentioned another game, Sniper Elite, probably not so exciting for us, I'm not sure. High-res LCD, working in VR. No, I think we went through everything.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So in general, I would say there was a really very powerful keynote. I think you agree with that. A very exciting product, of course, always with the caveat about privacy that I still would tell everyone to think about that, right? But anyways, I think lots of people will not care at all. Very exciting. Very exciting, good for VR. More people are going to get into virtual reality. And VR is not dead.
No, and I've got just to sum up my thoughts on it. I think I've got to say that was a pretty good presentation overall. It covered a lot of ground. And if we hadn't had the leaks from a couple of days ago, it would have been a lot bigger than we probably feel that it is at the moment.
You're right.
But I still think they covered a lot of ground, and they shown us they're not shying away from showing us things which are still in their early days of development as well, which I think is interesting as consumers. So that's a plus as well.
Right. And Tony, probably your thoughts, your summarizing thoughts about this.
I'm excited that it really is $299 and it's coming on October 13th, and I've got my pre-order in. You know what? I'm excited for having an Oculus Quest. Well, not an Oculus Quest, but an Oculus headset that is a higher resolution, more, high-end style headset. Because the Rift S didn't work for me. So I couldn't use the Rift S. So I've got a Valve Index and I've got a CV1. And when I looked at like the Reverb G2, I'm like, not really doing it for me. I mean, I know it's an improvement, but just But with this,
you should give it a try though.
Yeah. Well, this I can get 1832 by 1980 per eye, and I want to try that with Link. Sure. I want to try it with Wi-Fi 6, and I want to see how good it can look possibly. And maybe this is like a really inexpensive way to almost get that reverb like resolution, and then also have native Oculus everything. So you're in the Oculus store. See, that's the thing. You get a Reverb G2. Are you going to enjoy playing Medal of Honor in your Reverb G2? Not as much as me, I think, in my freaking Quest 2 with real controllers in the right ecosystem with pretty good resolution.
Right. So before I stop this, I see the question right now, Reverb G2 versus Quest 2. I think lots of people will be interested in what I think about this. And let me just let you guys know. I think for VR enthusiasts, they want to have simply the best fidelity. I think the G2 is still winning here because it has this better audio. I think, well, I don't know, but we don't see any kind of headphones on the Quest 2, right? So I believe it's a very similar sound that we get from the Quest right now. And, well, that is simply not on the same level than Valve Index.
MRTV. Yeah? Medal of Honor is coming to Steam. So that was a terrible example. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I'll have to say Lone Echo too, because I was saying that like you're going to have a bad experience with Medal of Honor if you're on a Reverb G2, but no, it's going to be on Steam, so you have a pretty decent experience.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so I was just saying, like, I still think for VR enthusiasts that simply want to have the best fidelity in VR, I still think the G2 is winning here, simply because it has the high resolution, probably going to have the better audio. Well, the comfort seems to be great with the Elite strap on the Quest 2, so probably that's very comparable, and I cannot say until I really check it out. So I still think the people who pre-ordered the G2, they shouldn't like cancel their pre-orders, since this device simply is amazing. However, I also think that people who do not have the gaming PC, I think the Quest 2 is simply the right choice to go, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no question about it. Yeah.
What about versus the Index? Because,
I
mean, it's going to be weird. This is going to be weird. This
is a good question. You're right.
So Sebastian, here's a question for you, because you've tried the Index and the G2. I've only tried the Index. I've not tried the G2. But when I watched your review and comparison of the two, you said that the Index has the wider field of view, but it's not like a big deal for you, I believe.
Right.
So what do you think? Because I'm sort of in the position where I've got an Index and the G2 looks pretty good. But then again, if I could sell my Index and just get a Quest 2 and it could be comparable in some ways to the G2, then why not for that price?
Right. It totally makes sense to get the Quest 2 for you, right? And you pre-order it. It makes so much sense. So the question probably for you is, should you upgrade from the Index to the G2 when you already have the Quest 2 on pre-order?
Yeah, it's more of a case of, is there a big deal between the Index, the G2, and I suppose once you get the Quest 2, then you can give us impressions on this as well.
Right.
Like the difference that the actual... what you would put a monetary difference on the price between these headsets. The Index is an expensive headset. That's the thing. It's so expensive. And is it that much better?
I really think the controllers, I think, are a downer.
I really think the Index pre-orders, they are going to probably be a bit lower. I think people are going to cancel their Index pre-orders because now this seems a bit expensive now. I even read quite a few people who say like the G2 looks now expensive, right? If you compare this with that $300 of the Quest 2, but you still have to remember, if you want to have that comfort, you absolutely have to probably, I suppose, everything is an assumption here, you have to get that Elite strap to make it like more comparable with the G2 in terms of the comfort. Well, I think.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Check this out. Could you imagine if you could buy a Quest 2, you send it off to somebody, they open it up, they remove the battery, and they put in a special like HDMI connection. So they basically turn your Quest 2 into just a dedicated PC VR headset, and now it's even lighter weight. You know?
It is something like this. They don't have to get the battery out, right? It is basically exactly what you said, thanks to the link cable, right? So I do think lots of people are simply going to pick this up and also use it as a PC VR headset. And I'm pretty sure, because they are so capable in what they do technically, that it's going to look amazing. Even now, I think with the original Quest, I can totally play with the link cable without feeling terrible, right? But so I think it's going to look really good. But of course, I have to wait until I really have it here at the headquarters. Then I'm going to compare all the headsets like I always do, like through the Lens videos. And just then, we're going to have the answer how good it's going to look like, right? But Gary, for your question, well, there is absolutely a visible difference between the Index and the G2. It is very visible, and it makes sense, right? For the Index, you have that 1600 times 1040 pixels per eye stretched over a bigger FOV. And for the G2, you have 2160 times 2160 pixels per eye on a smaller FOV. And that is just the difference why everything looks so super crystal clear on the G2.
And the Quest 2, even smaller, even smaller.
Do we know about that?
Well, we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. I will say it's got to be for the people with bigger IPD, I would imagine. But then again, we don't know. And these are all questions in the air, aren't they? So
how do you guys know about the FOV? Do we have anything official? Anybody checked it out?
We don't know. Only in terms of the panel. So you look at the form factor of the Quest 2, and then you look at the single panel, then you look at the fact that they are adjusting FOV by simply moving the lenses.
You're right. That makes sense.
I think that's the only reason. It might not be. Maybe they're doing some little tricks in there as well. So
okay, I will totally measure it out. As soon as I have the Quest 2, I'm going to connect it to my computer, put in the ROV test environment, and I'm going to let you know exactly what the FOV is. So looking forward to check this out for you.
God, isn't this amazing though? Like if you go to the Oculus Quest subreddit, Facebook to discontinue Rift product line. Wow. Did we really think that this was gonna we were gonna know this right now? Like no. I always thought what Oculus would do is it would be like a slow death, so it just like slowly over years you just realize the Rift is dead. I never thought they would actually announce it, we are stopping the Rift, damn. And you would think there'd be more pitchforks out over this.
Well, this is the Rift replacement. Right. This is better than a Rift S, isn't it? If you've got links. So
that's what the lady said.
Can I complain about that though? Because honestly, I think when you hook up a link cable, I've hooked up a link cable to my Quest and I'm moving around, that cable is so thin. I don't feel like I have a real PC VR headset. If you gave me a real freak, I don't feel like I can play Beat Saber and I can play Eye of the Temple and all of that. I would much rather just yank that cable out and buy myself a Wi-Fi 6 router and bite the bullet and do it like that, because those little wimpy link cables, I feel like I don't really have a PC VR headset.
Right. Okay, that makes lots of sense. I would like to ask into the chat. We still have 1,190 people watching this. So thank you so much for watching this live stream and still sticking to us, even though now the keynote is over. I would simply like to ask, who has already pre-ordered the Quest 2? Please say yes. If
Probably
you
everybody.
Have not pre-ordered the Quest 2, say no. I simply want to get an idea. And if you come from Germany, say I come from Germany. So would simply love to find out. Okay, yes. So lots. I think But this some people said no. Germany, Germany. Yeah, right. No, G2 is better. Yeah, I agree. I think it is better, the G2, right? But it's just the price point is just so sexy of the Quest 2, and you don't need the gaming PC. So it's for a different kind of audience, I think.
I'd still say I was of this opinion before anyway, but I would still say if you only want a PC VR headset, still get a dedicated PC VR headset, because I still think that's going to give you the overall better experience.
I agree. Well, I will check it out. I will check it out. Right?
$299, man, $299.
Yeah, but the G2's not that bad, is it? I mean, what is it? What is the G2? It's
$599.
Double that.
Yeah,
is it really?
But $299, and then you want to have the Elite head strap with battery, and then it is already what's $399, and then you want to have the 256 gigabyte, and then it's getting very close
and
to
then,
that $599.
And then you've got this cable that always feels like it's about ready to pull out, and you just want a solid cable. So
Right.
I honestly think that
And
is
you don't
a
have
big
the
deal
audio,
as well.
and you don't have the audio of the Valve Index and the G2. So I still think if you want to have PC VR, then the best quality you will get from the G2 and the Valve Index. But of course, I totally agree that this is a very, very cool headset, and people are going to pick it up. And it's exciting. It's super exciting.
I wish Steve was in here now as well, because
exactly.
He's never been. It's always frustrated me with Steve, because he's never been into the Quest as much as I am, and I want him to be, but he's just not. He's not, and and I can't really fault him for it, because when I think about how much I've used my Quest, like my original Quest, over the past few months, it's hardly anything. There's been not a lot of content on there, and this is the problem. And I think this is what probably Steve was alluding to earlier, how this is the reason he's not excited about the Quest 2. It's the content. And I think now more than ever, we've got a device which is so competent that could give us fantastic content, and I hope it's not going to be hindered. And we will get Facebook providing us with some AAA content.
What about that Star Wars game that we saw? That looked pretty good. Was that new footage? I don't think I've seen that before, and I thought it looked really impressive.
Right. We heard about this game. What is it called? Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
ILM X Lab again.
Yeah, we've heard the name before. I'm not sure if we've seen any footage before. I've not kept up to date with this particular title, but yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it. Like, great IPs as well, right? Star Wars, Medal of Honor, Splinter Cell, Beat Saber. You know what? I even think you don't need so many games that people don't know. It's about these names. They will draw people in, especially Star Wars, Medal of Honor. I think we're going to have so many new people in VR very soon. So it's super exciting times. But Tony, you would not even touch the G2.
So here's the thing. Okay, here's why I'm a G2 hater.
Yeah, why?
I'm a G2 hater because Windows mixed reality. If that thing had Steam trackers on it.
But you have never tried it. You have never tried Windows Mixed Reality. Never. From what I've heard on your channel, and I watch your channel, as you know. so you have never tried it.
Yeah, but I've never wanted to try it. That's the point. No, but it's the tracking. Like I've watched some of Tyrell Wood's videos where he was talking about the G2, and he's talking about the tracking. And to me, it sounds like it always sounds like the tracking hopefully will be better, but on this preview version, it isn't.
You have to watch more MRTV.
Yeah.
You have to watch more MRTV, dear Tony, because
it was actually I was watching an F reality podcast. Actually, it wasn't on Tyrell Wood's channel.
Okay.
But Tyrell Wood was on F reality, and he was talking about the tracking, and he was like, it's close, and see, close ain't good enough for me, man. It's like to me.
Great.
Well, the G2 to me, Sebastian, is I will
go there to find you and show it to you.
I'd love to try it. I'd love to try it.
Yeah. It's really good. You should really give it a chance. And I'm going to, one fine day, if this COVID thing is over, I'm going to be in the States and I'm going to force it upon you.
Oh, I'll try it, man. We were at, what do you call it, GDC that one year, right?
Yeah, right.
You bring your reverb to the next GDC.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's right. You guys met, didn't you?
Yeah, we met in real life.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised, like how tall Anthony is. Like we're the same height probably, like very tall guys, right? So it was like, wow, he looks kind of not so tall in YouTube, just like me probably.
Yeah, I put my camera up
Yeah,
high.
he's got his camera down.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same here. So guys like Anthony and me, we are kind of tall guys in real life.
Yeah.
Wow. So exciting. Yeah, hopefully we can all meet in real life sometime in the future again. Hope this COVID stuff is over soon.
Yeah.
All right. I think we have talked about lots of things. But before we stop this here, dear 1,109 people who are still watching this right now, you have to subscribe to VR365. It's Anthony's channel, and I put it down into the description of this video, and I'm also going to put it into the chat right now. So I need you to click on this link, and I need you to subscribe right now. If Anthony does not have at least 500 new subscribers, I'll be angry at you.
Yeah, get me to 3,000. I'm like below 3,000 MRTV.
Okay.
You can single-handedly get me to 3,000.
I want you to get there right now. So everyone who's watching this, you need to watch Anthony become Ranthony, right? And get him to 3,000 subscribers right now, and then it was all worth the hassle to come here on the show. Also, another plug here for Gary Walkden, the author of The Memory Engine. I really, really think this is an amazing book, one of the best VR books that I've ever read. It's really incredible what you came up with. And if you are interested in virtual reality, and I know you are, this is my huge recommendation for an amazing science fiction novel about virtual reality. And the link is down in the description of this video. So support Gary, support virtual reality, and find out where Facebook Horizon is all going to go soon.
Yeah.
Right.
You never know.
And also, of course, please subscribe to this channel if you want more unbiased and honest reviews of all the VR headsets. I'm totally going to review the Quest 2 fairly, and I'm going to pit it against the G2 and the Valve Index and the 8KX and all the different headsets that are out there. And now I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Tony, for being here. This was an amazing show. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up, because we give everything here to bring you this as hot as possible. And that's everything that we got for you guys now. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo, that was cool. Oh, that was... Wait, I didn't click on the right thing. Now.